Hello, everybody. Hello. Irashai. Welcome, everyone, to my shop. My name is Janken Pomme, and today I am not alone. I am in big company, large company. Finally, big old men together. I am with... That's your cue.
That's what I was wondering. Hi. I am Almantas, former professor, current VTuber. I'm an old man. I love old things. And I'm just happy that Janken decided to have me on tonight. Well, this morning for him, but...
Yeah, time zone.
Time zones. It's actually a kind of convenient time zone difference. I think I mentioned this before, because you're basically 12 hours off from me.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And I had an RPG group that I was a part of for years, where one of the players lived in Japan for 5 years.
All right, you did mention.
Yeah. For like the 12 years we kept that RPG group going, and so that's a very intuitive conversion for me.
Look at him. We barely started. It's like literally 30 seconds in the stream, and he's ready for the yapping. He's already having like the stories.
Please.
It's all good.
Please. You gave me all day. So you gave me all day to prepare and warm up.
I knew what I was going into. I was like, he likes to yap. Like we're gonna have a lot.
Oh no, it's easy. It's easy for me. I definitely got a lot of report card comments about talking too much during class.
Yeah, so. I actually had that too.
Oh yeah.
But before we start into all the yapping, everyone, I am streaming with none other than Almantas. We've been wanting to do that for a little while, and we're here, and I just want you to notice in the chat I've put his link as a pin for his Twitch channel, because Almantas stream on Twitch. I am one of the rare male indie on YouTube, but it is what it is. But
it is what it is.
Click on it and give the men a follow. All right, do that for me.
Yes, I'd love it. I'd love it. I've got my funny little tank emoji over there.
Yeah, if you go over there, he won't look as good as today because he's always stretching up and everything.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh no, that's always been a funny one to me, because because you hate it. I know that you hate it. You are on the record as absolutely hating. You hate the stretch.
I'm a professional. I'm a professional streamer over here, So I always want us to look at our best. So when I come in and I'm like, what is going on? Old man is messing with his model again.
Yeah, my people love it. And if I have to warn you that if you show up on my channel, you will get stretched.
Me? Oh no!
It's a filter. Right. Yeah, it's a filter that's applied to the entirety of VTS. It's not VTS internal. It's an OBS. So it's like that happened to Saffron when she was on the other day. She got squished.
Okay. I mean, I'm so large that if I get squished anyway, I'm just gonna look like normal size.
look, people in your chat are already cheering for it.
Yeah, they love this stuff.
People love it. It's I mean, to me, it makes me think about I have nieces and nephews, and one of those things that they absolutely love is seeing their dignified old men put into silly situations. And that's just one of those things you just gotta do. You gotta put on the silly hat. You gotta let them do your nails. That's just part of being an uncle.
Calling you a himbo, man. Do they call you a himbo? They call me himbo.
Not often. Not often.
No, you're too like you have that savant kind of aura, So maybe people don't dare but over here. Struggle.
I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. No,
it's okay. We do a little hee-ha-ha for the crowd.
I think it's the white hair. For me. That's right. Either that or because we can see your pecs bursting through.
Yes,
right?
I mean, it's the buttons, you know, like they used to old, but like it's not by choice, obviously.
Yeah, of course. You definitely could not have just chosen a larger shirt. Whereas I am my body type's a little bit more Uncle Iroh, and like people aren't really calling Uncle Iroh a himbo. You know, like that just feels like a little just feels a little bit odd. It just feels a little bit odd, not impossible, just a little odd. That's kind of my hypothesis on why I don't get it too often.
I need to do an hair color change, maybe becoming like Silver Fox or something.
Maybe. I will say that like when my folks come after me on the intelligence side of it, of the himbo thing, they're coming after me for being dense and not noticing things.
Well, you are dense, but maybe not like in the same like.
And I mean because I don't think too many of them are here right now. That's a slight survival mechanism that I developed over the years. That there's a shocking amount of office drama that I've managed to survive in my life by
tell me about it.
Just pretending I don't understand what people are referring to.
I see. I see.
Like people are like trying to like get their allies together for some like awful knockdown drag out office fight, and they're like, you know, Charisse is a little. I'm like, a little what? What do you mean? Amazing how much trouble that saved me.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to jump in the fray here. Like I'm gonna be part of it, but I need to become more wise and stop that nonsense.
Oh, my last place I got hired at was like they had a very slow hiring schedule, and so I was like one person had been hired about a year before me. And then the next person who'd been hired before me was 11 years prior.
Yeah.
So like you walk into an office where like there's an office dispute between people and that, and it's like you do not know the lay of the land. Like, you do not know what's going on. There are grudges here that are like old enough to vote.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah. It's just like much easier to just.
Yeah, but I mean, in my case, a lot of it. I've been like pretty much like the guy, like, you know, I own here my pawn shop, right? And I did tell my pumpkins, my fan, right, that, you know, they may have to work a little bit part-time to help me. So, you know, I'm usually the one who generates the heat, so I've never been in a situation where there's like someone like already like at the top and like ready to roast.
Oh, geez, yeah, no, this was a, and like I don't know, that's definitely a thing that I think about to a certain extent in this VTubing world is like. There's a lot of drama right here. Yeah, there's a lot of drama, and like, I mean, you've made fun of me for this one, as have so many other people.
Have I?
For I am so ignorant on the VTubing. I'm so uneducated.
Yes. I know it's a topic. It's a topic like you often like want to like kind of chat a little bit. I know for today you wanted to brush it a little bit, but I just want to, before we jump into that topic, which I want to talk, I just wanted to tell everyone watching right now. So we call this literally old man yap, right? And I think it's very fitting. I love the fact that it's 3 words, like old man yap. I felt it was amazing, and then it's gonna be exactly that. We're gonna like once like I do this little segment like of telling you like what you're in a boat for. It's gonna be that, but also I wanted to talk about the title itself that I really like. There's an acronym that we can make that is kind of perfect for it. So if we ever like want to talk about like if we want to do a old man yap, we can literally say, oh, let's do a oh my
I know my.
Oh my.
And I was just thinking about, like, there's something very aesthetically pleasing about it being a 3x3 grid. You know, because like you did ask me about like a favorite font, and I was dead asleep when you asked me, so I didn't
it's okay.
but like my favorite font is Georgia, and it's like no, the sans serif is better for this one. Sans serif or a monospace.
I went with like the most basic one. I was like, I want something old man looking, you know? So
Yeah. No, a real chunky sans serif is what you went with, which is good, which is very good.
And about the title, I some people are gonna get excited in chat, and I'm sorry about that, Amantas. Like sometime my chat, you know, when we actually the first time, like I think you said "Oh man, yap," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so good." However, the first thing that came in my mind was, "Oh no, there's this genre that exists as getting popularity, and we need to be careful. We need to keep this very, very pure." It to my ears, it really sounded Omen Yaoi.
Oh, okay.
Because like
okay,
Omen Yap, we are so close.
Yeah. We're
and I was
just,
like,
it's got 2 letters off, yeah.
And I was like, no. Let's not entertain. Let's not entertain that.
That shows that, like, as online and everything as I am, that you are definitely more online brain poison than I am. Because like that was not like really on the radar for me.
Because I know my people, and I notice the kind of things that they're gonna think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I mean, I get some of that, some of that from my folks, but it's.
But it's okay.
I think I get less than you. I think I definitely get less than you.
They're not getting it. You're not chat. No, you're not getting that. We're just 2 wholesome, like big men, like having a good time, a good chat. All right. So chill. I see you guys. I see you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was great. I also really like the three letters, and I know you're men of letters. You're a man of that kind of like that stuff. And I wanted to tell you, it's not even a topic like I thought I wanted to talk about, but because we're talking about letters,
I figured we can be loose with this.
I'm amazed every time you write on your stream. Like I can't write for jack shit. Like writing for me is like almost I'm losing almost my writing abilities because I never do it, right? But but every time I see you write, I'm like, man, you probably did that all of your life, right? It has to be a life skill.
So okay, it's depends on which one, right? My ability to speed write in longhand cursive, that's lifelong. That's been since I was like 7 or 8. And but that one I don't usually do on stream because I'm not super in practice with it right now. And it's not actually that interesting to look at. It's just kind of funny that I can be in a meeting for multiple hours and write down everything everyone says verbatim.
Oh yeah,
as fast as they talk. That's kind of funny.
Damn.
And I can't keep it up for multiple hours. I need to switch between longhand and shorthand to keep it up. I'm actually faster with the longhand than the shorthand. I don't know. So that one's lifelong. But the calligraphy, I actually learned the Japanese calligraphy first.
You did?
Yeah. So I took Japanese in high school.
I think you did mention to me once.
Yeah. I started Japanese pretty young, and I actually really like practicing kanji. That was actually the part of Japanese I enjoyed. I am the sicko who enjoys kanji.
But do you enjoy learning kanji, or you just enjoy writing kanji?
Learning. I to me it feels like I can like feel like the slow, steady improvements.
Oh, it's like at all. I feel like
it's like the totally mental equivalent of like peeling the Elmer's glue or something like that.
To me, I feel like
totally satisfying the whole way.
I have a leak somewhere in my brain, and just like when I try to like memorize them, it's just like, no, it's just not happening. It's just like, as much as I try, I retain like the first like obvious kanji that like we learn. But like as soon as I started like more complex one,
I've been kind of alternating over the last couple of years between learning Japanese and Chinese, and so now I'm in this like horrible mutant type of learning, where like I could remember, like I'm like now like re-practicing on the Japanese, and it's like, do you like, one of them came up in the reviews. I was like, this one's totally new for you, and it was sugi. It was sugino, and I was like, oh, I remember what that is in Chinese. So, and I remember that it's like next. I know that it's next in Chinese, so it's got to be sugi in Japanese. So, and I was right. Like it's like I hadn't seen it in years in the Japanese context. And so stuff like that. So I've got this horrible mutant version of learning characters, but the last time I was good at it, which was maybe a year ago, like 2,200 characters.
Okay.
Ish.
Okay.
Which is like, they'll get you okay. They'll get you some distance. They'll get you some distance. It's not like a remarkable thing. It's not.
Kanji by themselves are not getting you anywhere, right? Like,
yeah, it's true. It's true.
If you don't have the vocabulary, the grammar,
yeah. Well, I mean, and that was when I was learning more of the Chinese, where like you don't need the grammar, because Chinese grammar is a kind of a joke for an English speaker.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've studied Chinese. Chinese just has the same grammar as English. It's infuriating.
Wow.
It's absolutely infuriating.
I did not even know that. It's infuriating.
When I took Chinese so I took Japanese for like 6 years, and then I was in college and I was like a senior. I was like, what can I take? I was like, I'll take like, I'll take like my first year of Chinese. And then like I'm in the Chinese class, and like there's one other Japanese second language speaker in the class with me.
Okay.
A friend of mine from the Japanese class, who also was taking it at the same time. And like the teacher's like, okay, so like this is what this word means, this is what this word means, and therefore this sentence means this. And me and this guy who've been studying Japanese for 6 years are just going insane. We're just completely like decompensating for like 2 weeks straight, going like, what the fuck is the grammar? Like, what is the grammar? How do you know that like the words are supposed to go in this order? And he's like eventually like we bring this to the teacher, like it's like what is the grammar here? And he's like, he only spoke English and Chinese, and he's like, it never occurred to him that a language would not be subject, verb, object.
Wow.
Yeah, it just never occurred to him that he would use anything other than subject, verb, object. It's just like, we've been going insane. You're like, how do you know that the verb is supposed to go here? How do you know how these prepositions are supposed to work? Because in Japanese they work differently. Particles work differently than English prepositions. And you're just like, yeah, you just like translate the words literally. I was like, come on, come on.
I've learned a little bit of Japanese, but I've never tried Chinese. It was the first time like actually hearing that.
Yeah, no, it's just like like we were just going insane, and it's Chinese grammar is very similar to English grammar. It doesn't have tense is the biggest thing.
Okay.
There's no tenses. People say that la is past tense, but that's not really what it means. It's like you put la at the end of a sentence to indicate that things are over, which implicitly means they're in the past, but things can happen in the past without them being completed. It doesn't. It's not like a firm indicator. Like things can be past that are not completed. So it's. But anyway, yeah. So I'm getting back into the Japanese. But yes, when I was studying Japanese in high school, my Japanese teacher, did you study Japanese formally or entirely informally?
Both. So
you did take classes.
Yes, I had classes. Yes.
Yeah. Miss Janken is backing me up here.
Well, Miss Janken is borderline fluent in Japanese, so yes.
Okay. Like when you're studying Japanese formally, which I think is true for most foreign languages, if you take like a formal class on them, you end up studying like the traditional arts of that culture, right?
Yes.
And so like the teacher like did notice like I was like way more into the writing system than like anything else that was going on. He's like, you should try this out, and he gave me a brush and an inkstone and all that stuff. And
so you did actual also calligraphy and everything.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah. I even took some calligraphy courses in college. Some Japanese calligraphy courses in college, not English calligraphy courses.
Okay.
So I started learning the English calligraphy in grad school, very informally.
Okay.
Which is because again, grad school is when I realized that I can just, instead of just trying to pay attention with my ears, because I have a bit of a language processing disorder. Hearing is hard for me.
Okay.
And so I realized that I can just write everything down and then read it, and that's actually way easier for me than trying to like actually understand what people are saying. I can just write it all down and then read it.
I heard of people saying that. I heard of people
saying
that.
It's an ADHD thing. It's an ADHD thing. And I didn't. So like grad school is when I like figured that out. Like this is something I should have been doing in like elementary school, but I figured it out in grad school. And so I was writing like 10 plus pages of notes a day, like writing all the time.
Meanwhile, like I never took notes. Like I hate.
It's a different brain architecture.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought I hated taking notes, and the trouble is that like, again, it's like a processing thing. So if all I do is like listen and turn it into muscle movements, that's actually pretty easy for me. But if I try to do it the way that people say to take notes, where it's like you listen, you process what they're saying, and you write down the important stuff, that's just slower. That just makes it harder for me. Then I'm like 10 seconds behind the speaker. Then I'm 15. Then I'm 20. Then I'm 30. Then I'm 40. Then I'm just completely lost.
Okay.
You know, so like it's like if I just write it down without thinking about it, I can do that.
I see.
But anyway, I was writing all these notes. And I was like, why not make these pretty?
Yeah, I mean,
why not make these pretty?
If you're already writing anyway.
Yeah, and you can't do calligraphy at speed. That's crazy. That's absolutely fucking insane. That's absolutely nuts. But I would make the headers in calligraphy. That's how I learned it. I started with making like the title of the class, what the subject was, and the date in calligraphy at the top of the page. That's how I started. That's how I started. And then just kind of kept going from there.
Yeah.
I like working with my hands. I like using those fine dexterity skills. I like the connection to the past because I am such a history nerd. I'm such a nerd about this.
That I knew you loved history.
Yeah. And calligraphy is like a kind of interesting art form in that. So in principle, it's very restricted. Like there are people who will hold. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I just wanted to say I have a calligraphy story I wanted to share to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because how can I say? Like I feel like Japan, like calligraphy is they teach it like just normally, right? It's not even like, how can I say? It's not optional. Well, I mean, it depends on what grade you are, but it's part of the culture is what I'm trying to say. And basically, there was this one time I was invited to go to a school festival, like, just like in my anime kind of school festival. And like there's food, there's everything. And there was also a calligraphy club. And they were doing, and that was super interesting, they were doing giant calligraphy with like huge, like literally cartoon size, like a pen, and also with like buckets of paints. And they were doing that on the like very, very large paper, like all taped together. And they were doing that as a choreography with music.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, you would definitely have loved to see something like that. That was like really, in that art form, it was really obvious that I was like, calligraphy is like a lot more than just writing, you know?
Yep.
It's an art form, and this I felt like was kind of like a mix, and it was pretty cool to watch.
The one actual decently edited video that I've ever made, and I don't know if I'll ever do another one because I find editing such a pain in the neck.
Oh, me too.
was I did I'd rather just stream for 12 hours than edit for 2 hours. I did for St. Patrick's Day, I did the traditional Irish song, "Come Out You Black and Tans," and I did it in calligraphy in one take, and then I squished it. I squished it. I used time compression to get it to match up with the lyrics of a recording of the song. But yeah, it's there's definitely some more cool things you can do. I mostly stick to just constantly working on my letter forms, and like spacing and stuff like that. And like when I see people who are like good at it, right? Like I see people who are like good at it, they're doing some crazy stuff. There's an Arabic format in calligraphy, because Arabic calligraphers are like, they're next level. Arabic is an Arabic calligraphic tradition.
I mean, I can see it somehow. Like even without knowing, I can understand.
Yeah, they're the Arabic calligraphy tradition is incredible, and there's one of the calligraphy things that a lot of Arabic calligraphers do is like they rotate the page under their wrist, so it creates circles. They are writing in circles, and they'll write like concentric circles. And that's like by Arabic calligraphy standards, that's like kind of
so they're moving the paper at the same time as they're writing.
Yeah. So like every letter starts at like a different rotational element. There's some people do some very, very impressive stuff, and I am just out here trying to make letters look nice. So, I'm just trying to make letters look nice. I mean,
as long as you're having fun, right? Yeah, I think it's the most important.
I think I'm having fun, and I think I'm having a. What I was gonna say was like an interesting part of the art form is that, like there's a traditional art element to it of like you draw like this, you're supposed to make it look like this, but then there's this other element to it where it's like, but if you look at old calligraphy, like if you look at like 16th century manuscripts, every scribe writes everything slightly differently. Like people nobody was ever actually following the rules that closely.
Well, you said something that is kind of interesting, and reminded me. I have a friend who draws, and she was explaining to me how she used mathematics to draw, and to her, she really saw drawing as like not a science per se, but like you follow like certain rules, like you said, right? Like a bit like calligraphy, right? And within like that, she is able like to space everything properly. She is like the dimension of like what she's doing, but she's using her mathematic skills to like to be able to draw. And what you just said, the way that you were like, how everything is like kind of all ruled out, but at the same time there's still like their personal like touch, because at the end of the day no one does the same thing. Absolutely. And it's nobody's that consistent, right? Nobody's that consistent. I actually had a very short question because I just don't know this. So in the calligraphy club at your school, was it the Shodo Bu, the Shodo Kai? Because like my brain's like, come on, Shodo Sakaru, and like that hurts my head, but in like a very funny way for it to be the Shodo Sakaru. I can't remember, but I bet if Miss Janken is listening, she would remember. Yeah. Like, and then maybe I can follow up at the same time as she's maybe answering. Even in Japan, even in kanji. Okay.
Shodobu. Okay. The idea of doing a traditional arts club and then using the English circle. was just very funny to me.
Yes,
I was really hoping for that, but I didn't think I wasn't expecting it.
But your interest, your interest, like in Japan and everything. You never lived in Japan, right?
I studied abroad.
If I can ask. Okay.
I studied abroad there. I never lived there. And it wasn't where I did. It wasn't where I did field research either. I did my field research in different parts of Asia.
Okay. Because I was like, all the knowledge that like you seem to have like about like Japan and about like the calligraphy and all that, and you said like you studied like 6 years. I was wondering like your connection, right, to.
Okay, you'll find this funny. So here's the fundamental nature of it. The fundamental thing that got me into Japanese culture and studying Japanese as a language and stuff was we didn't have a lot of options at my high school for electives. We did have a choice in language. It was like you only really had elective options for which art you wanted to take, and my answer was I didn't want to. I did not want to. And the answer and which language you were going to take. And everybody said that the hardest language that you could take at our high school, and the hardest course you could take, because again you didn't really have a lot of elective options, was Japanese. And I was a contrarian, stubborn 14-year-old, and so I heard this is the hardest thing you can do, and I said, sign me up. On nothing purely on that basis. Of
course, and then like one thing led to the other. That's so interesting. As a French Canadian, for us it's not complicated. The second language class is always English. So it was pretty rare where we had like the opportunity. Yeah, Janken, that's what I thought too. she took it very young too, so that does help. That's so interesting.
Well, actually, I guess that was kind of a question that I've kind of wondered, because until I started VTubing, I didn't know any Quebecois.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And now I know you and Kari Charybdis and Capable Mabel.
Who?
Yeah, and there's another one who's like a regular in my chat who I
Okay.
So 4 I've met so far. So the other ones are VTubers who are more on Twitch. Kari Charybdis is she's Quebecois ethnically, but she didn't grow up speaking French. Mabel also grew up speaking French. She still has like a thick French accent. I
can totally, if you want, like. I'm gonna speak like a Quebecois right now with the big accent. It's not very complicated. Most people in Quebec they will speak like that in English when they speak, but I neutralize my accent a lot.
So a lot of adding of extra vowels at the end of the words.
Very nasal French. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We finish our sentences a lot, and and that's crazy. That's a bit of a stretch, but we finish our sentences a lot with la.
La. Okay.
L-A.
La. Okay.
La.
Okay. Not the schwa, the okay.
Because of VTuber, I've learned about Indonesia, and Indonesian apparently also finish a lot with la, and I was like, that's so interesting. Why do we finish with la? Like, where did it come from? Like, for example, like if I would say ben voyons là, which would mean like. Wow, what? How would I translate "ben voyons"?
Already giving yourself problems. You could have chosen an easier thing to translate, my friend.
Yeah, but it's because we say it a lot. It means like, oh, come on. Yeah, it's come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's kind of a, oh, come on. And then we finish with la at the end.
Gotcha.
And for example, you know a little bit of French?
I know like no French, like functionally none.
Okay, so you know oui.
I know what French is. Yeah. I know the word.
You know, oui for yes, right?
Yeah.
So,
I know we. Yeah.
So what we do is we take oui, but oui is kind of too bourgeois. It's too posh. So
it's too fancy. Yeah.
So we say wine.
Wine. Okay.
Wine. We finish with
like Wario.
Yeah. Quebecois is just Wario speech.
I think it's funnier to go with Wario as Quebecois. Mario is Italian American. So
yes.
What's the evil inversion of Italian American?
We have a large Italian community in Montreal.
I can believe that.
Like quite large actually. Like we have a little Italy and everything, and yeah. Well, Canada as a whole, a lot of
culture. This is just kind of a funny note to me. It's like so like coming to VTubing, I've never met any Quebecois before I was in VTubing. The majority of all Europeans I've ever met have been via VTubing. And so there's often often people kind of fold this into like Americans don't meet people from foreign countries.
Oh, well, I mean online, I guess.
But my previous, I live in New York, and I worked for some very large organizations. So I worked in an organization where I was the only person born in the U.S. out of 20.
Interesting.
That were on my team. And so the majority of people I meet who are primary French speakers are Haitian or Senegalese or Cameroonian. I know an enormous number of African immigrants. And it's just this kind of funny thing. And when I talk to, it's like this funny European bias that Europeans are like, when they say international, they mean European. And they're not used to the fact that Americans actually pretty much all Americans know at least a couple of Mexicans. Probably a lot of Salvadorians,
for sure.
Probably a couple Cubans. Like it's even when I lived in rural Iowa, there was a Vietnamese family down the street. The fancy restaurant in town was owned by an Egyptian family. But it was it is this kind of funny biasing towards Europe that I've run into in VTubing. I think it's probably a class thing. Probably that kind of thing. Class and education and access to things.
I do know. It's a matter of spheres too, right?
Yeah.
So maybe these spheres don't reach you too, maybe because they don't stream in English or.
Yeah. I mean, Japanese VTubing is not totally, but somewhat cordoned off.
All right, let's talk about it. I know it's a topic you've been wanting to talk a lot.
Yeah. So, because
I
can think
preface, right?
Yeah,
all of me, all of who I am is 95% just Japanese VTuber inspired, from agency. This is why I'm also more of a YouTube kind of person. So all of my roots into being a VTuber fan is all coming from Japanese companies, right? And all of the music I have in the background is come from a Japanese website that a lot of Japanese companies are using. There's a lot of it that is just I took literally inspiration from. But you told me that for you it wasn't like that at all, right?
No. I always find this funny. My journey into VTubing was I got a really bad case of COVID, and I was on my back, I was could not watch TV level out of it. And there was a specific VTuber who was popping off in my non-VTubing circles.
Interesting.
And it was a very small. I don't know how small we'd say she is nowadays, but Alexandria, she's a Valorant specialist over on Twitch. I don't know if you care about any of that stuff. She has a very particular voice that's some of the friends of Sappho that I'm friends with responded to extremely positively.
Okay.
And so I started watching her. That was actually how I started watching any streaming at all.
Any
then I just
streaming at all?
At all. Because
interesting.
Yeah. And then I just like followed people that like she would collab with and blah blah blah. And so like my inroad is like this pretty small indie VTuber. Like I'd heard of Corone before then, right? Like, but I never like really watched Corone. Like I'd see like sometimes people like post a like 10-second highlight clip.
Yes.
On Twitter, clips, come across.
The clips really built the English community for sure. Yeah.
And so, like, it was like I started through like the indies, and so like to this day I tend to like when I think about like who's big, who I watch, it's like Cleo and Grimmy, who I don't think are big by most people's, by big standards, by corporate standards, not particularly big.
Cleo, to me, is amazing. Like number aside, it's she understand exactly. I think how modern VTubing is, like having a very precise, sometimes I suffer of that, having a very precise, brand and being very knowledgeable about it and just like, making your old content about it at the same time being entertaining. I did lurk a couple of times in her channel, but
she was like the big moment for me, like thinking I could do this.
I see.
All the other streamers I'd seen had been like chaotic gremlins playing Valorant and Apex and stuff. And so it's very much a thing that it's a bit of a, I don't want to call it a formula, but like it's a bit of a recipe for success. It's a bit of a recipe for success.
I came in. I know what you're saying, right? Recipe for success, like being at a gremlin, and I, at some point where I had to convince myself I really wanted to do this right. As an older man, like it's like oh wow, it's that's right, old man. As an older man who is, I'm still enjoying this community. I was like, where are we?
Yeah.
Where is the mature older folks, especially the man? And I was just like, I think I have the audacity of like wanting to do that. Like I knew that like I was like going against a trend, and I was just like, but I feel that if I am wondering where is the more mature content, then maybe surely there is a need for it. And basically, and then of course, like I had to learn all this Zoomer expression because I'm using social media all the time, and I was like, what the fuck is a gyat? And then I was like, oh my god.
I am willing to just face first take it and just like not learn some of these things. And
skibidi.
I'm just willing to accept that it's something that people now get to laugh at me repeatedly for not knowing.
It's okay.
They just get to laugh at me repeatedly. Cleo was like a big one, and it's kind of interesting because it's turned out that Cleo is not. I'm not actually very similar to Cleo in practice. Like I because like I was watching Cleo and I'm like, wait, people find it entertaining to listen to somebody like be knowledgeable about history and talk in this like relatively calm fashion and play these like slower, more involved games. That like made that seem possible to me. But then it's turned out that like the actual way that I act on camera, as I say, because I'm old and I say that I'm on camera, even though I'm not at all. The way that I actually act and stream and all that, much more in common with Bob Ross.
Oh, interesting parallel.
Yeah.
But I always feared that. Like I'm super happy that you embrace it and that's what you want. But me, it's always like I fear when I'm like, oh my God, people are gonna fall asleep. and I'm like,
I have embraced it. Yeah, I have embraced it. I'm fully embraced it. I tell people who come in like, oh yeah, you can fall asleep. Like that's people are allowed to fall asleep to my streams. That's fine. It's actually one of the rules I have about like coming up with redeem ideas when I talk to people. When I'm like soliciting people for redeem ideas, I'm like, no loud sound alerts.
Oh my God! Like okay, I'll be honest. Like I'm not on Twitch not only because I believe in YouTube more, but also because I actually dabble like many years ago in Twitch, and the whole gamification of a stream is just like, I get it, it's entertaining for the user and everything, but on my side, I'm just like getting like shit thrown at me, and having you know, like scream alerts. Yo, the scream alerts, like, is what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I get it, content, but bro,
I think it works for some people. I think it works for some people. For what I'm doing, like, I really feel like it's very important that if somebody is listening to my stream and trying to relax and like use me as background music for work, or maybe they're dozing off, I want them to be able to feel like they can just comfortably do that and not worry about getting like a jump scare.
Yeah, for sure.
In the middle of it, I want them to feel like they can chill out the whole time and know that it's going to be like a kind of even keel the whole way through. I feel like that's very important. That's why I don't do that.
Well,
I will say. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, one of the most of the time I in general I don't really like that, and I'm not much like a guy who likes jump scares very much. But one that I find really funny, one that somebody did that was really funny, was my rigger, Charlotte. On her stream, one of her sound alerts is did you ever play Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas?
Yes.
Okay, so the sound the mines make.
I don't know about the mines, but I know that I lost my shit at the shotgun trap.
Oh yeah.
The shotgun trap, like if I don't see them, like it's just like a horror game suddenly.
The mines do like a little beep beep beep. Before they go off, and she's got that wired up as a sound alert, and every once, like most of the time when people put it off, it doesn't really get her. So she's like, every once in a while, like she like stops everything she's doing, and she's like, "Oh wait, never mind."
Where's the That's pretty funny. But that's the thing is, I get it. It's fun, and you know, and fun interaction and that kind of stuff, like being more interactive. I would rather play with my viewer if I want to be interactive with like with my stream, right? But I get it. I wanted to segue with this topic into something I wanted to chat, and I think it's something that may interest you. And I wasn't sure if you played it, because sometimes there are games where I will buy, and I was like, okay, this is a off-stream game because, like I said, like I don't think like I'm gonna get anywhere playing it on stream. And there's this game I've been completely addicted to, and I was already addicted to the first game when they came out. It is by the people who made Cultist Simulator. Okay. And I don't know if you know also Cultist Simulator.
I have played Cultist Simulator. A little bit, not very much.
And this is the Book of Hours.
Yes.
Which I call...
It's on my wish list.
It's on my wish list. I see.
It's on my wish list. I didn't in the summer sale because I didn't buy a single damn thing. But
I call it. Yeah, I actually bought it on the sale. I call it an abstract narrative game. Because there's really nothing like it in the sense that like the game doesn't tell you what to do. There's no voiceover. It's all text. It reminds me, and then we're going back, like the old man like shtick, like chat better like hold into your hats here. Do you remember the types of game where you had to input comments to like inspect things?
Yeah, like Zork and stuff like that.
Yeah. And this remind me of that, but like made in 2024, where the game doesn't really tell you what to do, but figuring out, and then like the more you play, the more you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I need like to combine those things together. I need to talk to this, and there's so much content like also to discover. Anyway, but my God, if I was to play that on stream, I'm like, it's so boring.
Oh, This is the thing that I think about a lot, because what I one of those things about me is that my judgment sucks. I am so bad at judging these kind of things, and so there's all sorts of games that I thought were going to be really fun and interesting and cool for my viewers to watch. Everybody was bored, nobody cared, and played things that I'm just like, this is the stupidest nonsense on the planet, and that people love it. And I do know some of it's like individual skill. Some of it's individual skill. Like me and Nando have talked about this a lot. Like Nando streams Age of Empires. And I can't do it. I've tried, and I am checking chat every second. I am talking to my chat constantly. You cannot play Age of Empires while doing that. It's just not. Like, I don't have. My attention can go a lot of different directions, but that is too much. But that is too freaking much. I can't.
That's a skill. I think it's a skill. Like I see chat. Like I see you guys. I see you guys right now. But I'm having a good time chatting with Almantas over here, right? So you guys, like you can wait like tomorrow. Like we're gonna have like more of a private session, and I'm gonna entertain like your silly comments. But today, like we're talking and we're having a collab, right? And I always expect, and I don't say it, and I saw people like literally putting like, hi chat, today I'm having a collab, so I'm not gonna interact with you, I'm very sorry for that. But I personally don't do it. They know. Like if you're watching my content, guys, and you haven't realized, when I'm in a collab, like I'm not gonna like cut my guest to suddenly like talk to you guys. It doesn't mean that I don't read it, right? I read everything, but I'm like purposely like, you know, not interacting. So but like I said, but this takes like some skills, restraint kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's like, I mean, where I'm going with all this is like, to me it's just very frustrating. And it's I mean, okay, well, on the subject with collab partners, like with a collab partner, I'm going to be paying both less attention to the game and kind of less attention to chat than I normally would, but I also kind of realize like I am paying a lot of attention to chat for a streamer. I was keeping up full conversation with chat while playing Dark Souls. Totally consistent. Well, but Age of Empires spans too many.
I don't want to say, but I kind of lurked a little bit. You kind of needed to focus, I think.
I am very bad at Dark Souls. Like no, Age of Empires is just too much. That one really goes past the limit for me.
Yeah.
And I like to cite that this has not always been true in Age of Empires, but currently there is an actual this is the best player in the world. Yes. There's an actual #1 best player right now. I don't know if Nando's talked to me about this. Yes. But there's a guy named Hera who's #1 on every single ladder.
He annoys me in DM all the time about that shit. I know everything about Age of Empire because Nando is like always focusing on that. No, I'm kidding.
He loves it. And where I was going, all I was going to say was like, there is a best player in the world, and he does stream sometimes, and even he only checks chat every like 4 minutes. Which is like unreal to me as a streamer. Like it's unreal to me. Like I cannot imagine going more than 30 seconds without checking chat. Like that feels insane to me.
Let me give you an example. I had one experience, right? I know you said like you don't know much, but let me put you perspective. Male VTuber, Hololive being the biggest VTubing company, Japanese, but they also have English. I had the chance to invite over one of their biggest guy named Altair, right? And he was very kind and he said yes, and we had an amazing time. At some point, I had like 700 people in chat, and chat was reacting a lot to, because we were doing bits and we were being funny, and he was like talking about stuff that he never kind of did before. So there was a lot of excitement. And there comes a point where chat is way too if you catch a phrase, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good, right? like this is why like we call the expression getting one guide, because because you're trying to read chat and you see that one comment and there's someone who says like bullshit, but that's the one like that you caught. But anyway, I think it's also become like you have to at some point in the growth where you can't just read every single comment. And it just like become like, chat is there. They're interacting. They're having a good time because you made it funny, and then the chat suddenly go.
Yeah, there are occasional times where I can't keep up. It's rare, but I would say I usually catch about 80-90% of what's going on in chat. I'm not catching 100%, and I know that number is going to get worse. At some point, but for the moment, that's about where I'm at, and I feel fairly good with that. But
we're talking about that because of type of streams, right? And being good. Yeah. And to be honest, when I have to be good in a game, like I have to get good. I have to get gamer uncle like kind of vibe, right? There's no way I can entertain and read chat and trying to get good. So sometimes when people are really good, but they're still like being entertaining, I was like, that's another level. That's another level. Oh yeah, and we talked about that because you said you're more Bob Ross of
I'm going, when I think about like my inspirations, it's like Uncle Iroh, Bob Ross, Carl Sagan.
Is another big one. Yes.
Yeah.
Do people? Do people know, like the names that you're saying, like?
Is this going to be my entire brand? Is just like they know who Iroh is. They gotta know who Iroh is. There's no way they don't. But like it's
knowledge. Knowledge is. We're getting older. We're getting older. Like, it's people who says like, I know them, you're above a certain age. But
yeah,
like
Last Airbender does enough rounds and gets enough mini revivals in the last couple years. So like I'm confident that Iroh's still like in circulation. But I mean Sagan's been dead for a long time, so that's not too surprising that people wouldn't know Sagan as well. But that's very much what I'm going for.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one of your chatters does not know who Sagan is, and the miss.
I know. I told you.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with Sagan. I'd be not very surprised with Ross if somebody hadn't heard of Ross.
Yeah, he's still like kind of a meme word like on the internet. So
yeah. He's got a Twitch channel.
Right, it's like someone like replaying like all their video all the time. I think it's also on YouTube actually.
Yeah,
there's like a 24/7 like Bob Ross content. Yeah. Interesting. But all that to say, if you have the chance to play the Book of Hours, that apparently you know what it means, and I didn't know it means something. I highly recommend, and I think you would like it.
Yes. Well, first of all, I may as well say who Carl Sagan is. Carl Sagan's an astronomer. He's been dead for a while. for a while now. He was a
what? Like
was he born in the 30s
10,
or
10
something?
Years
He
ago?
at least 10 years ago. I thought he'd been dead for longer than that.
Really?
Yeah, no, he was mostly active during like the 80s. Died in 1996, so yeah, almost 30 years. Almost 3 decades. I was like, I thought he died before the year 2000. He's most famous for a TV series called Cosmos. That's where the public knows him from, which is available on the archive, on the Internet Archive.
Oh,
if you want to look it up. Yeah, because it was a PBS thing.
I know him because of YouTube. I've seen like clips and I've seen like, but I don't think I've watched the show per se. But like, wow, what an intelligent man, like crazy.
An intelligent man, a generous
ways.
man, a giving man, a curious man. His shoes are hard to fill. I will put it mildly. It's like a towers over. I don't want to speak ill. I don't mean to speak ill of Bill Nye, but incredibly more dignified and graceful.
It was different
than Bill
too,
Nye.
Right? Like
he's doing a different thing too. He's doing a different thing. Like Carl Sagan was largely going for like more general public education, whereas Bill Nye was very specifically targeting children. Very specifically targeting children, and Sagan's much more targeting like a full adult audience. So he's it's a different level of energy that he's bringing to the conversation. And of course, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is another big inspiration for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say it.
That's because
you're making me wonder. Am I really an old man? Like you're really. I'm really like. I don't feel like I like because the people like you've been saying that inspire you are really like uncle literal uncle or very like in the same kind of zone. I'm a fake.
I mean, if it makes you feel I was behaving like this in I was acting mostly like this starting when I was like 14. So I was just born
you
old.
have an old soul kind of thing.
Yeah, I was just born old. I was just born old.
I know people like that actually. I know people like that. When you're they're 20 something and just like, why are you such an old man?
Yeah.
Like I know exactly. I have a friend in my mind, and it's like, since I know him, he's been like an old man, and he's like will always be like an old man.
I'm not slandering Bill Nye. I'm just saying he's doing different stuff than what I'm doing, or than what Sagan's doing. I don't
more call Sagan. Yeah, I guess what you mean. Yeah.
It was that's. I was definitely one of those people who was like born old. And like I actually partied pretty hard during my 20s. Is like the really funny part.
Me too.
And I'm now wondering. I'm like, did I just come across as like a middle-aged man having a midlife crisis? when I was like a college student,
isn't that what VTuber is anyway? Talking about people that inspire you, and someone asked a question. At first, I was like, "Why are they asking that?" But then I was like, "Do you know the concept of Oshi?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm reading Oshinoko, so I have to.
Okay. Because you were like telling me like, "Oh, I don't really know about like industry kind of VTuber and everything."
Did I tell you the funniest?
Oshi? Is your Oshi Carl Sagan?
No.
I'm kidding.
I don't really know how to interact with the term. Like I know what the concept means, but like I feel like I'm on unstable ground.
But in the VTuber realm, like if you would say like the one person you watch the most and you're being inspired by. Okay,
this is one of those moments where like it really reveals like one of a lot of the reason why I ask my own community for like lots of input all the time is that I don't tend to watch people who are similar to me. I don't watch a lot of people who are like me.
Okay. I mean, I watch a lot of female VTuber, and I can tell you that we're not making the same content.
That's fair. the VTuber who I am like who I tend to say is my Oshi, who I like have the most like strong feelings about, is Cali Calico, who is nothing like me.
Oh, you did mention
Calico.
Yeah,
I love Calico. But you know, she's streaming Kusoge at 3 a.m.
I see.
She's not doing what I'm doing at all. Like, she is not doing what I'm doing at all. We are not similar streamers. I adore her. She's amazing, but I don't act like her at all.
I see.
So that's why. That's you know like there we go. Words.
I get it.
The story that I always find really funny is one of my favorite bands is a Norwegian death metal band called Opeth.
Okay, I heard. I'm not sure.
You maybe have. They're fairly big about 20 years ago. But one of the things that's always been extremely funny to me about them is that when like they get interviewed, right? Because they're a big band. They're a fairly famous band, so people do interviews with them. And whenever somebody asks like, "Who is your biggest inspiration?" Whenever they ask Michael, the front man, who's your biggest inspiration musically, he says ABBA. Every single time. He always says ABBA.
Death metal group, right? You said?
Yeah, it's a death metal group.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't mean anything, really. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to be them, right?
No, it doesn't.
Like, you can be inspired by... But like for me, like my biggest VTuber is I'm gonna have to question you after that. Is Oshimachi Suisei, and I've been
who that is.
No
idea.
That's crazy.
We
need to talk about that. We have to. But I just want to finish. But she is like a singer, and she you know, female Japanese VTuber, doesn't really have to do anything with me. Well, in some regard, like I'm in Japan, but there are stories that are very inspiring behind the scene. So I don't know if you check my content once in a while. I'm really big into fan games, right? I like to help because you know, when I'm not busy being a shopkeeper, I know a thing or two about making video games, and especially quality assurance kind of thing, right? And I've been helping a lot around, and I've involved myself in this community a lot, and I know Hololive a lot because as a fan and everything. So to you, right, like if I say like Hololive, like just Hololive as a company, you at least know the name, right? Like you've heard the name, yes. You named the name. Okay. So, and you would say that there are names that like came to you, but like you've never like been curious or anything. Like you did mention like the Colonne clip, probably the Ooga Booga, like kind of.
The ones I remember are a couple of clips from when she was doing the Super Mario Brothers, but I have to speak English.
Yes.
And then she would jump into
forever
if she spoke Japanese. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But outside of that, not even like the English side reached you. Okay.
So here's a big one for you. For about, I think the first time somebody made this comparison was maybe September last year. Somebody compared me to Vesper.
Well, tell me about it. Yes. I actually had
I did not see any Vesper until April.
Well, I mean, he's gray hair and he has glasses, so. But
I understand.
Is not there at all.
Really, I can see it. I can see it.
Really? Oh, hell no.
Yeah, I can see it.
He's crazy.
He is crazy. Yeah, he is crazy. He's a lot crazier than me. That's true. But like, older man telling stories and complaining about his
yes, that's
stuff
okay.
like
Okay.
that.
For the just chatting part, yes, for sure.
That part,
and I feel
I can see it.
just like him. Well, unless like he's making things up, but I will never know. He has an incredible memory for stories. I suck at that. Like, I feel like I should have like my baggage of stories, and I'm like, I can't. I was like, what have I done in my life again?
I feel always so goofy that I clearly have a great memory for stories, like objectively. But then if you just like ask me like, hey, do you remember X? I'm like, no.
I see.
It's either like I don't. It's either like I have no idea what you're talking about, or I can go on for an hour. That's me.
So you were compared to Vesper, but you said like you never like watch.
No, not until
any content.
Nothing until April when Kari got mad at me and was like, "Here, you have to watch this."
It's so sad. Like I don't want to sad talk here too much, but in my opinion, he had, before leaving, right? He had the most beautiful and the most beautifully rigged male VTuber out there. Like the one that he was supposed to. I don't know if you saw it. Like he had like a new
like vampire thing,
a new model. Like
I didn't see that one. No. I've seen his vampire model that he debuted with, and I've seen his random model.
The one with the very triangle chin.
Okay, no, I didn't. You might have to link it.
Okay. I'll show you later. But it was so sad because I was like, that's like one of the best like model I've ever seen. And yeah, sadly, it ended like after. All right. Enough sad talking. So outside of that, like really, not even like the girls, like the English, because they talk English. So technically, it's not like a.
No. The reason why I don't really watch is not the language thing's not a problem for me. I watch my movies with in subs as a rule.
Yeah.
No, that's not like the fact
that you
understand
Japanese to a degree.
Yeah, to a pretty poor degree, but a little bit. It's I can
tell you watching English, watching Japanese VTuber, it's not that hard. There's a lot of expression that always like come back. But even so, is it because you don't like use YouTube? Like, how did it like never kind of reach you?
The biggest reason why I don't watch particularly big streamers like that is because the chat's just too fast, and I don't know like what I'm doing there.
As a viewer, you care about the chat. That's crazy. I see.
Like I'm. You've met me. I'm so extroverted. I am talking to people all the time. Everybody is my friend. They just don't know it yet. And so like, even like that's the reason why, like, so for a corpo who I do like, and I just don't really watch very much. The V Shoujo girls. Like I know the V Shoujos.
But then again, this is Twitch, and their chat also goes fast.
Their chat goes so fucking fast. It's
right.
Even Apricot isn't like Iron Mouse. She's like much smaller than Iron Mouse. She's like 800 something to 1,000 viewers, and it's still like it's not a chat. It's kind of like a vibe. It's kind of like the howling portal of emoji.
Man, you would hate. Let me tell you a little bit.
It's just for me. It's not like I hate it. It's just disengaging.
No. But you'll see. I'm not talking that hating a VTuber, but I'm talking about the culture, the Japanese viewership culture, because I've watched a lot of Japanese content, especially VTubers, right? And I've noticed something, and it's so Japanese. Even if it goes fast in a Japanese chat, there's something about repetition. And always you need to know like 5 words. You need to know 5 words, and you're gonna be set in a Japanese as a viewer.
How many of those words are just W?
Well, there's a W or the kusa, right? Of course. And there's a nice. Yes, nice. And you have kawaii, especially if it's a female VTuber.
Yeah.
Kawaii. You need to know. Ikuzo is a good one for let's go.
Ikuzo.
Yeah. IKZ.
I'd never seen somebody do that as IKZ. I know.
Usually it's at the start of the stream, or the start of something. It's let's go. Taskaru if they sneeze. And then you see those repetition all the time. Sugoi. Like when something incredible occurs. Sugoi. You see all the sugoi, like, but in hyper repetition, in a sense that like it has to. This is the thing you have to say. Like people like writing a long like sentence in a Japanese chat is almost inexistent.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
It's often just like the same repetition word that is being told there.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
Very different. Very different.
So this is the thing I don't know if this has ever come up on your channel, but a pretty large percentage of autism is what I was going to bring up. A pretty large percentage of the VTubers that I know are autistic. It seems pretty common in the space.
I never talk about it, and I often like ask myself, everyone in 2024 almost asks themselves.
I know that I'm not because I've been tested because I didn't start speaking until I delayed language onset, and then it turns out I've got no other symptoms. So I'm not. But I think a lot of it's because of the fact that in VTubing we're not using human faces. And a lot of autistic people don't really like looking at human faces. They find them a little bit overwhelming.
Really?
That's a fairly common autism symptom, yeah. I think that's part of it, but one of the things that this has had a kind of interesting effect an interesting like sub-effect of this is, do you know what the word echolalia means?
Pardon?
Okay. Echolalia. Echolalia is the practice that some people have. It's a bit of a verbal tic. It's a sort of verbal tic that is present in a lot of people, mostly autistic people. It might be kind of an autism symptom where you repeat yourself often. There's a lot of repeating of phrases and repeating of words. You just kind of say the same thing over and over again and over and over again. And it's adaptive. It's an adaptive trait for being a streamer.
Yeah.
It's a good trait for being a streamer. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
so
my God. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it makes so much sense. But it's usually I avoid this topic. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know a lot of people like on Twitch, like they go like autism, ADHD as their tags, right, and that kind of shit. And I don't really do that. But still, I've always like wonder like there has to be something. And now that we're having this chat, I'm kind of mind blown. It makes so much more sense now.
No, those are the elements that make sense to me. I do say all the time that having an attention disorder is adaptive for being a streamer. That like,
I think I have a slight one.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, because being able to bounce between things, being able to like change topics readily, being able to those are when you're sitting in an office environment, but for keeping a stream interesting and engaging, it's good. And so it's a bit adaptive there, but I like with VTubing specifically, I do see autism being slightly adaptive. And when you're mentioning that thing about like how repetitive Japanese chats are, it occurred to me of like is there even like more of a culture?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, right? Japan has like this kind of group mentality a lot, right? And like the hive mind kind of set up. So there's definitely that comes into play, you know? And like if everyone says suge, then everyone says suge, you know?
So. I was actually well, this is like a totally like Japanese language question. Which one's do people say maji or honto more nowadays?
Maji is more common. Like it's
more,
like, not common in that sense. It's more improper. It's more friendly. Hey, Maji, easy modo. I'm getting with the old memes here. The whole Japanese meme.
It's like, how do you sound if you actually say majime?
Majime?
Majime? Yeah. Does that make you just sound like a total boomer?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this is a Ms. Janken question, to be honest. But I do know that honto is like more formal, like normal, and maji is more like friendly. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, maji. There was this this one Hololive VTuber. Her name is Choco, and she's a bit older. She says gachi. Hey, gachi. Like, and I was like, huh? That's the thing with Japanese. It's I like how Nando, you saw me coming a mile away. There's this thing with Japanese where it's very malleable, like especially on the internet, where everything is off the table for all of like kind of sort of politeness and that kind of stuff. Like, if anything, like learning Japanese from the internet is probably not the best, like if you want to work in a very serious environment. But
of course not.
Oh, and there's a mecha, but mecha is not for maji. Mecha is for a lot, right? Mecha sugoi.
Oh.
Yes. Not mecha. It's a mecha. It's like and this you never hear like, let's say in a school, in a very professional environment. It's almost like more internet. Interchangeable. Oh, I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mecha yabai. It's one of those things I've found really striking with Japanese. This is going to segue into me having a bit of a rant about translations. That in Japanese, so English speakers, an English speaker with like a college education, a native English speaker with like a college education, will have a vocabulary somewhere between like 25 to 30,000 words.
Okay.
And for a similar level of education for a native Japanese speaker, it'll be like 5,000.
Yes.
And it's just, English just has a lot of homonyms and synonyms. You know, like chutzpah, right? Like chutzpah. I don't even know if that's a thing that people use outside of like the East Coast.
I have no idea what you're saying, actually.
Chutzpah. I'll type it into your chat. Chutzpah. It's and I misspelled it. No, minor spelling mistake. There we go. Chutzpah is a Yiddish word that is used on the East Coast of the U.S.
Never heard.
It's really common in. I live in New York, right? So there's a lot of Yiddishisms that we use. Like took us and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a loan word. It's a loan word, and like we do a lot of those in English. We have a ton of loan words.
Tell me about it. Every time I hear a French word said in English, and then the pronunciation goes off the table, and then if I talk in English and I say it with my French pronunciation, I'm told that I mispronounce it. I'm like, listen to me here. This is a French word. I'm French. I get to say it in French if I want to.
You don't want to go down to Boise, Idaho? But yeah, or Des Plaines. But yeah, but anyway, it's this word that like in English you use it's kind of got a similar meaning as like courage. Like chutzpah is a word you use when, so like you work somewhere, like you're working at your office, and you hear that there's been a tragedy at the office. There's been like something tragic happened in the building.
Okay.
And like obviously nothing's going to happen now because like the police are involved or whatever. The person who says, "So let's pay time off," right? That's chutzpah.
Like gutsy. Like gutsy.
That's gutsy. It's gutsy, and there's a kind of like a cheekiness to it. Yeah, audacity. Someone's got the audacity.
It's kind of never heard that word in my life.
Yeah, well now you've learned another word, and yeah, it's bringing in some of the other Yiddish words that we use, like schlep and schmooze.
What? The schlep and schmooze?
Schlep and schmooze.
Schlep
you know
and schmooze. Schmooze, yes.
You know schmooze.
Yes,
you know schmooze. Schlep is like you carry something, and like the implication is that like it's heavy and it's a burden, and you're complaining about it. Yeah. So it's to haul for a long time. There's definitely an implication that you're complaining. Like it's a bad thing. But like, you're not doing it gracefully. And vetch is another really good one. It's when you complain in a recreational way.
You complain in a recreational way.
Like you and your friends are like having some tea, and you're just like complaining about stuff that you don't actually intend to fix. It's like not that big of a deal. You're just like, doing it to like talk, and like for fun, basically. That's fetching. And anyway, I'm just getting the point that like English has an enormous number of these terms that are like really narrow, really specialized. And so where I go nuts is when I'm reading manga where people have translated things too literally.
Oh my god, tell me about it. I was playing a game. I was playing a game like that too recently, and because the VA was in Japanese, and then there was the text, and I was like, "Oh, come on!" But yes.
Yeah. So, like an example that you might have some opinion on is Chainsaw Man.
Okay, I haven't seen Chainsaw Man, but
this is from the manga, so
it's
the
okay.
anime
I can have an opinion about anything, even if I've never seen it.
This one's easy to have an opinion on.
Okay.
Two of the characters are mad at each other.
Okay.
And they're walking away from each other after having had a pretty noxious verbal fight. And both of them are shouting "shine" at each other. And
go die.
And the male character it's in katakana, and the female character is using it in like proper "shine" with the the kanji and the hiragana.
Man, but
it's just
that's
translated.
Cheating. That's cheating. Like that has such. Oh man, that's Japanese.
I'm so mad that like the official translation is just them saying "die" 3 times.
No, but it's like it's so hard.
It's so much stronger.
But I know, but that means so much thing in Japanese. Like you understand,
it loses
right?
so much. Yeah, I do. No, yeah. I think
but
the character.
Let's explain the chat if they don't understand, maybe, right? Like the fact that like you said it in katakana or in hiragana?
In katakana.
In katakana.
The guy says in katakana.
So there's this belief, right, in when speaking in Japanese, it's not heard, but there is an intention. When he's saying it in katakana, he's being like very like rude, like he's like at like the worst, like kind of like it's kind of like go fuck yourself kind of like level, right? It's like I hate you right now. Like
I think that it was harsh enough that it should have a slur in it. Like it should have like the B word or something in it, or the C word.
Because you don't need it, because you can play with Japanese like that. And then when she says it like more in a proper way, she's like, she still hates him to probably the same degree, right? Because she's still saying go die, but she is saying it in more of a, I don't know this character, but maybe is she more like a proper character? Like
she's more educated, she's more intelligent.
Exactly. So yeah, she probably like more dignified in the way that like she's saying it. Just like it's the same thing. They're saying the same thing, but you can feel because of the language difference, one in kanji and one in katakana.
Yeah. And it just portrays so well to have them saying the same words. Like you're not and to the like to soften it so much, just make it like this, like what to Americans?
Yeah.
Telling somebody to go die, that's like an elementary school, I think.
Yes.
Like it's pathetic. That's pathetic. No, this is a fuck you and the horse you rode in on. This is a go fuck yourself and die in a hole. Like that's
the thing, is that for translation, right? It's really hard. That's why I was saying that's cheating, right? It's really hard, unless, because you have to come at a point where it's not translation anymore, and Japanese is most likely gonna happen. It's gonna be localization, right? And then you have to make the choice. Shit, am I translating or am I localizating? Am I doing a localization? And it's a very difficult choice, because sometimes the liberty of localization is gonna because you're not part of the culture most of the time, of the Japanese culture. You would need to have a lot of knowledge of Japanese culture to be able to do a very proper kind of localization. And even so, the problem here is that it's so subtle. It's so subtle that if you put it in words here, you lost the subtlety.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like it's like you have to, it's so much just like you have to make choices about how you're expressing things. And this is my ultimate, this is me doing like my ultimate thing in talking about this kind of art in general, is how much do you have an obligation to being literally accurate, and how much do you have an obligation to being emotionally accurate? And I don't care. Emotional wins. That's me. That's me. That's my own. I'm just like, if you're translating a technical manual, or a history book or something, you got a different question. It's a different set of questions. If you're translating a video game or a novel or something like that, capture the emotional truth. Capture the emotional truth.
But at the same time, though,
well, then it's just an art form at that point.
It's
just there's no science to it after that. It's just art, and like then you just have created the miserable problem of like the translator cannot merely be a person who knows both languages. They have to be a good artist in the target language.
Because I had a lot of problem with localization. Sometimes the liberty that is taken and just like, okay, chill. Like you're reading things that are literally not here. Especially for Japanese, it's just like you're saying things that is not even hidden here. You're just like taking liberties of changing the meaning completely, and that can be very dangerous in the sense that you're losing the spirit. One that was really funny to me on this is you're getting sorry everybody, you're gonna get like a turbo nerd moment here. There's a Chinese philosophy text called the Mengzi that I read in college, and there was a line in it that really stuck with me. That was he was talking about tax, like the only tax you should have on the market is on the use of the land that the stalls are built upon. And I'm like, that's weird. And as I got older, like that's an economic theory from the 19th century called Georgism. The single land tax. It was an economic theory that was very popular in the 19th century. Okay.
And I was like, this is really weird that this 2,000 plus year old Chinese philosophy book has the same politics as a 19th century economics textbook. That's weird. And I thought that was really funny. And then like after a while, I was like, okay, this is bothering me. And I looked up the Chinese and I right next to the translation into English. And It's just not there in the Chinese at all.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
It's just not there. It's just not there. It was just the translator's perspective. He just he just was a Georgist because it was a 19th century translation. He just thought this was an accurate theory, and so he just attributed it to this Chinese guy who was dead 2,000 years before the theory was invented. And it's like, why are you doing this, man? like, come on.
Yeah. When I said the word dangerous, I thought I was a bit bold.
Yeah.
But this can create dangers, like actual, like misleading stuff that is pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Yeah. I actually, I don't think I talk about it often, but I really love languages. Like, like I really wanted to come in Japan and teach, but the system kicked my ass a little bit too much.
Ooh.
And I was like, I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah. But it is super interesting to me for sure.
Oh yeah, and it's well, it was funny because like you came on and we talked a bit about Chrono Trigger when I was streaming Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. I mentioned.
And that has one that like I used to like more and I've liked less as I've gotten older. And in general, I actually do like the Woolsey style of translation, but the one that's kind of gotten to me a little bit is the way they translate frog.
Yes.
Where it's specifically the element that nobody else talks like him. Like it's like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be sounding old timey, but like you time travel to 600 AD. So if he's talking that way because he's old timey, then everybody else in 600 AD should talk at least a little bit like him. Like, what?
Yeah. But
that's just being weird.
There's something to be said about 90s Japanese translation. Right. Like if I were to replay the game that I like as a kid, I would probably like, what the hell is that translation? Yeah.
Have you watched Let's Mosey?
Let's Mosey?
Let's Mosey.
Mosey.
It's so do you know who Tim Rogers is?
Who?
Tim Rogers. No, you don't.
The name. Maybe I've heard before, but
Tim Rogers is a video game critic who he used to work for Konami Japan.
Okay.
Like his Japanese is really good. Like he lived in Japan working for Konami Japan. His Japanese is very good. And even though he's from Indianapolis or Bloomington, Indiana, one of those two. I think Bloomington. So he's a white guy who speaks very good Japanese, and now he lives in America and he writes these reviews. And he has a like 14-part deep dive into the translation of Final Fantasy VII into English.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Well, he is. It's really interesting because like he talks about like the line that everybody like memes about is this guy are sick.
Oh, I don't even know that line.
It's just a translation error. It's just,
okay.
It's just a pure error.
If you would have told me Spoony Bard. If you would have told me Spoony Bard, this one I remember very vividly.
But I really recommend. It's a very, very good series. It's very long, but it was also just very interesting to see somebody who was like really doing a deep dive. And the FF7 translation was very rushed.
Yes.
It was very, very rushed. And it's interesting to see the parts where it's like, this translation turned out this way because it was rushed. And this translation turned out this way because like the translator made a really weird choice. I
have some news for you.
Okay.
It's 2024 and translation are still rushed.
Yep. No,
they're trying to, put more linguistic quality assurance.
Yeah.
Right? But it's still like always like very rushed. Maybe what happened is that it wasn't there wasn't enough quality assurance on those titles.
I do say that I think in there's definitely also cases where Yeah, the speed is always an issue. There's also an element of like strategy is always a problem. Because it's a different language. That's the thing that does drive me a little bit nuts when I talk to people who don't really speak other languages, is they think that there is one perfect translation.
Yeah.
Like somewhere out there in the universe, if you just put in enough work, you can make the one translation that is always going to be right and nobody could disagree with. That's going to like perfectly convey all of the meaning of the original. Like, it's not possible because it's just a different language. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like you're going to suffer some consequences. Yeah. That's not to say that there isn't like better and worse. You can put to a translation and be like.
Sometimes it can be flat out wrong though. It can't be perfect. It can be perfect, but it can be completely wrong.
Yeah, there's completely wrong, and then there's places where it's like you have to think about it a lot, like the Phoenix Wright series starts off with like, you know what? Screw it. It's a big city. What's a big city in America? Los Angeles. This is now Los Angeles. And then as the series like continued on and it got more specifically culturally Japanese, they just have to keep on stretching harder and harder to be like, actually, there is just like a little Japan in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Or was it San Francisco? I forget, it was California. The famous joke about it of they're having sushi and it's like, yeah, eat your donuts or eat your donuts.
Someone said it. Yes. It's literally the good old Pokemon jelly-filled donut.
The jelly-filled donut. Yeah, and it's and it's that one's particularly funny because I mean both of us are old enough to remember Pokemon being on the air originally.
But people take it super seriously, especially that series, because they just announced that they're finally, oh my God, it's been so many long years, they're finally going to have the Miles Edgeworth investigation game available in English. And then some of the names especially because Japan is full of puns, right? And all of the names in the series, especially in Japanese, are super punny. And the names came out as what they're going to be in English, and people got really not happy. Like
those babies.
Man, they take it very well. It's also because like those games has been quote translated a long time ago because Nintendo because Capcom like never did it. But now that it's coming out, like people are comparing because they're like, it was so much better into like the fan translation than whatever like you guys made up, and they take it so seriously. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, they take it super seriously, and it's. I do think that there's something in general kind of amusing about the sort of like inverse relationship between how silly a series is and how seriously people take certain elements of it. Yes. Like, wow, the people who make Smash Brothers do not want people having Smash Brothers tournaments. They do not want that. No. They seem pretty obvious that they do not want that.
They don't.
They want this to be a fun game. They want this to be a fun, silly game with children or like some guys with beers. They do not want there to be professional.
They don't, but they, at the same time, they know what they're doing. And
they know what they're doing.
The way that they are building the game makes sense, and this is why people who takes it really seriously are able, like, to break out the mechanics and play it like quote seriously. I mean, they do play it seriously, but
and meanwhile, like Skullgirls is intended from day one to be a serious game for serious people, and like it's a relatively chill environment by contrast.
It's also a Nintendo, right? And
it's a Nintendo. Oh my goodness!
What I mean is like I love Nintendo. Don't get me wrong, right? But they want to make sure that their game is like for everyone, right? So I think that oddly enough, it's probably in the best of both worlds, that you can play Smash just like for friends, like for funsy, and if you want to be a try hard, there's a window to do that, even if sometimes you feel like the game is working against you.
Yeah. No, it's man, and I'm just thinking about the fact, like, one of those things that always highlights that I bring up all the time because I think it's really funny is my last console was a GameCube that I only had for like a year.
Wow. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I haven't had a console since then.
Wow.
To me, the console is still the PlayStation 1 and N64.
That's crazy. The Switch, in my opinion,
missed entirely.
Is one of their best console.
I could believe that. Well, and of course, this also means like I'm calibrated for Nintendo being the NES and the SNES when they were like doing shovelware. You know, the SNES is like 1,500 games. Like,
yeah. But it has nothing to do to nowadays, right? Like there was there was so many. Like I think I talked about that in the stream. Like I had those. I want to say Chinese, but let's just say they're counterfeit. Like 200 games on one cartridge. Kind of game. Hello? Oh no! I died.
Hold on. No, I hear you.
No. It's my face. My face died. They were like, slanders. Give me.
Okay.
I'm very happy right now. Give me a sec.
Okay. I was not. So how you guys doing?
I swear this never happened. Yes, the USB plug went beep, 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 beep for
Oh, jeez. Jeez. God, I'm holding on to.
You're gonna hear a lot of windows. I'm sorry about that.
Well, they're not coming over Discord, so I'm not hearing stuff. It's pretty quiet for me. Chad is the one who gets to suffer. Oh my goodness! Oh no! Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true.
I like that. Before we were starting, you were telling me, "Oh, VTS like is giving me issues."
Yeah, VTS giving me issues. Yeah. Consistently, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I did replug it, and it's not.
Is it the camera?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm afraid of what it might be, but I'm not gonna say it in case it jinxes it because it's a really bad one.
It's not the first time that happened.
Okay.
Are we back?
Yeah. Oh no, you're still just breathing. You're still just mouth breathing right now. Just calmly mouth breathing. Very, very excitedly mouth breathing.
Come on. USB, they never go in when you want them to go in. Come on. There we go. Windows. Actually, we're gonna segue into this. Okay, I'm gonna go in VTS, and I think I'm.
You might have to kill VTS and restart VTS.
No, I might do. No. I'm just gonna. Camera off, camera on. Oh! Hi, hello.
There we go.
Okay, we're gonna need to recalibrate a little bit.
That's all good. It's all good.
All right. Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
We're here. Hey, no problem. All good. I think there's something with maybe the USB port or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, you know what? This is kind of perfect. This whole shenanigan that just happened.
Yeah.
Because there was a topic I wanted to talk about. You know, whole man yapping, right? We've been doing that like for like almost like 2 hours, and I did not even see the time pass by. Old man. But it's kind of crazy, like what just happened versus where we come from, in the sense that we both pretty much saw the internet and computer coming to life, right?
Yeah. Like, no, I remember not being treated very seriously.
I saw those MS-DOS, like one block only computer. Like there's no like tower, it's just like a chunk of plastic that has the screen and the monitor and the computer in one, and it just run MS-DOS. And that's it. It's just like, and it's yellow MS-DOS. It's not even like, it's like orange on black kind of level. To this day, being virtual. That's for you think about that, right? There's a lot of like younger kind of like people out there. They have like this, how can I say? There's perspective that the internet always has been like around them. So it kind of makes sense that like virtual people like eventually come out of it. But for us, who literally went from like beep, 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 to today being virtual, isn't that crazy? Like sometimes I think about it.
The specific one that I think about fairly frequently as being completely insane is, I remember playing old Age of Empires, not Age of Empires 2. Old Age of Empires 1. And there was a setting that people wanted to have in games. Like, people wanted you to play with the higher population limit. And the only way you could do that, because there wasn't a menu option for it, was you had to use regedit. And so there I am,
yes,
like 12 years old, can barely reliably touch type, doing registry editing on the family computer.
Yeah.
And I'm just like thinking about that right now, and I'm just like, God,
that's crazy. You should have.
How did I not break that computer?
You should have seen me on MS. No, not M, and on MERC.
Oh yeah.
I was like a magician. I was like, I learned at like, I don't want to drop some age number here. Let's say I was really young, and I was like learning everything about what is it? The FTP. The protocol,
right?
the
file transfer protocol.
Yeah, the file transfer protocol. Yeah. Because like everything was like kind of running on that, and I was like, I'm a pirate, baby. and at that age, it's there. It's just like, if you learn how to do it, and you just go on those server, it was like it has nothing to do, just like the way you just said, like you were just changing the registry. It just had nothing to do on how like things work nowadays. It's just crazy like that. That's crazy. I've learned, and I don't remember. I've learned how to make a boot disk, a Windows boot disk on a floppy.
Oh yeah. On a floppy.
From nothing, from like a file. Yeah. When I think about that, like I'm like, yeah, we're a bit out there now, like
a bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty, and it's also at the same time. So this is you're gonna get me being the history nerd here. I'm also kind of, by contrast to 100 years ago, this is actually not very much change at all.
Yeah.
Because, like, people talk about, like, how much things have changed within, the last 30, 40, 50 years. But, my great-great-grandfather grew up without running water, without refrigerators, without cars, without airplanes, and he had all of those.
Yeah.
By the end of his life.
Yeah.
When at the end of his life, he expressed genuine surprise that he thought it was genuinely surprising that he did not get to go to space, because when he was a kid, nobody had ever flown before, and by the end of his life, it was typical. It was a thing that he did multiple times a year.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
And like to me, it's refrigeration is the one where I'm just like, this is an insane technology. Yeah. Like it is completely like that. I think is like the most, from a consumer perspective, the most big deal technology that's happened. Just
it's true.
I mean, I can have mangoes in North America. Like, I can have fresh raspberries in December. Insane. Like, absolutely incredible. That's such an incredible change. And we have phones that are faster. That's fundamentally what the internet is.
It's true. No,
but
it's
fundamentally a fast telegraph.
I was a young Janken, and in my school textbook, it was talking about the years 2000 something. Yeah, Not 2100. No, it was 2000 something. And they were talking about those robot maids and like living in space. And that was when I was a young junket. The people had expectation that technology would continue to go as fast as it's been, like in the past, 100 years. So it is true at the same time, we went from having like MS-DOS, like kind of cheapo computer to now like just being virtual. But when you put in perspective, maybe the last 50 odd years before that, from the last century, you're thinking, now I'm an anime.
Now you're an anime.
But I'm not in space, or there's not like a new invention like completely changing my life.
It's and it's one of those funny things because this is kind of all reminds me that earlier this week, me and my class watched Videodrome. Have you ever heard of this movie?
No, I never heard of it.
Videodrome is a Canadian movie about VTubing.
Okay.
From 1983.
1980.
Yep. It's an extraordinarily prescient film.
Okay.
It's very surreal to watch this movie and be like, oh, wait, what? Like, oh, wait, what? This is a movie about like living online and being online all the time and having separate online personas and those bleeding into your life and being parasocial relationships. And it's from 1983.
Nice.
Yeah. If you heads up, it's Cronenberg. Heads up on that one. If you got a weak stomach, might get you. I have a bit of weak stomach. It got me a little bit. But it's a cool enough movie that I've watched it a couple times. And but it's just incredible that like all of the ingredients have always been here.
Yeah, no,
it's always been here.
And I'm sure there's other movies that are probably touching like the topic, because I remember there's a couple one of like your persona, like online persona that becomes real.
Yeah. And it's so I'm a person who, in a little peek behind the curtain here, I've got nicknames in real life, and I've got the kind of parents who don't like nicknames.
Okay.
They tried to give their children names that were hard to nickname, and they failed. All of us figured out ways around it. It just made us more creative.
Nice.
And so like they were like kind of distressed when they learned that like a lot of my friends call me by this nickname that's like pretty far, a pretty big stretch. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, this is what people call me, I like it. And they're like, oh come on, but we gave you this name. And like now, I definitely get called Al and Manny more than I get called my birth name.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like a lot. It's like not even close. Like not even close.
I mean, there's something about names, I think people always kind of like don't want their actual name. Well, it's kind of
I see kind of two types of people. I see people who can kind of like there's people like me who like the name is just kind of an arbitrary series of sounds that designate that I'm the person in the conversation. Like whatever, I've like very little attachment to my name. And then I've got friends who are like, they will not accept any misspellings, they will not accept any nicknames, any shortenings. They are Nicholas, never Nick, Nicky, Nicholas. Every single time. You always have to call them Nicholas, or they think that you're trying to pick a fight with them. Like, yeah, and it's just a different type of guy. It's a different type of guy, and I'm not that type of guy. It's just really interesting to me because I'm very arbitrary about it. Like, I do not care.
So, identity is very personal.
It's very personal. It's very personal, yes. And like the parts of my identity where when people get them wrong, I get cranky about are usually a lot more abstract. It's a lot more abstract and unusual stuff. And it's like one of those things where like it's like people do those like, what type of fan art is okay to make of you, and like I'm actually okay with most things. It's just I don't want to be portrayed in a way that makes me come across as like a non-cozy person. And I don't know how to put that on like a say-so to sussy line. Like I don't know where that fits. I'm like, this is a different problem. This is a different problem. So
the way I did that, because it's very easy. The big man. It's very easy to put you right. It's very easy. It's very easy to put you in the maid outfit. Yeah. But the maid outfit, I don't care. But I told my viewers, you can do it. I just don't want to see it like or being like used on like the official like hashtag that. Okay. Right. And I think some people, what they do is they have a hashtag just for that. If you're really curious to see it, they have a hashtag just for that. For me, I don't even have one. I don't want one, right? But people being people, if they're like, but Janken, your persona, your allure just like makes me want to draw you with your butt naked. I mean, I can't really like stop that. So I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. But just don't make it like your own like thing. Or I was kind of like giddy borderline having like my my bot in my PFP for a week. I don't know if you skipped that. If you didn't see it, that's all the best. On Twitter for a week.
Oh no, I did. I remember that. Yeah. It took me a minute.
And I was like, okay, it's part of the donation. But I was like, we're giddy, but I'll allow it just like for the funsies. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, I gotta think about that.
But yeah, identity and VTuber is definitely something. And when you were telling me earlier about like people not liking to see faces, actually, what do you think? I've been asked to give my opinion, and I will do it soon. Because I know you're from the indie scene, and maybe you don't see a lot of the corpo or more like job and not hobby kind of VTubing. But have you ever taught, or have you ever been asked, like, if you had a take on like how different it is to be male presenting in the VTuber community?
Yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts. So the unpopular element of my thoughts is when a thing that I saw fairly frequently. I've seen it less recently, and maybe it's just because like I'm following better people. But a thing that I've seen with some frequency is male VTubers expressing a lot of bitterness over their difficulty growing in VTubing, and I tend to not be super sympathetic. I think that what I see is that we're doing performing arts. We're doing performing arts, and our gender is part of our performance. Right? Our gender is part of our performance. Like I said Uncle Iroh as a huge inspiration to me. And that's because he's doing a particular type of masculinity. And a lot of what happens in streaming space in general, not just VTubing, but in general streaming space, is that a lot of women who are successful in this space are following a kind of formula of being the cool gamer girl. They're being the cool gamer girl. That's kind of their strategy. They are playing games and acting like one of your friends. And so for men who do not have a lot of female platonic friendships, this is very appealing. This is by itself enough to be a meaningful form of entertainment. Whereas if you're doing the same actions as a man, it has a completely different valence. And it's missing the juice, so to speak. It's missing the part that really makes it work, that makes it all come together, which is the gendered performance of it. And so I think that as male streamers, we need to be doing things differently. We need to be thinking about, what do people like to watch from male entertainers? This is why, even though in my real life, a lot of my role models are actually women, a lot of the people I really look up to in my life are women. When I talk about my inspirations for streaming, I'm talking about Mr. Rogers and Carl Sagan and Uncle Iroh. Because I think the gendered element is very important. And, if we're thinking about people who are doing it today, currently active streamers, think about you could, if you wanted to, think about like your PewDiePies and your Ninjas, but I don't have.
But that's where I draw the line.
I was thinking about like Northern Lion.
But wait. That's where I draw the line. Because in my research, like I said, I'm going to talk about it like on someone that asked me like to give my opinion. So I don't want to say too much. The moment you start dividing male VTuber and just like, non-VTuber, just streamer that are men. We're completely off track. You can't. Okay. You can't, like in my head, you can't, because male streamer, right, has like a format that works. It just works. And it's proven, right? But being anime man is really niche, is really aimed at a specific audience, and that audience is not the same that will watch Northern Lion or will watch PewDiePie. And I think, in my perspective, right, there is. So I'll say my thought a little bit. Of course, when you start comparing, it's like, if you say like numbers for numbers, do male VTuber has smaller number than female VTubers?
Whatever.
Yes, they do. Like, it's just like, numbers, like one is bigger than the other. Like, it's just like factual. You see it, right? But what we need to like keep in mind here is that we're anime male, and it's just like that by itself is already super niche. Like, even if like I would manage to attain a level of performance art that is like to the level of, let's say, like you said, like Northern Lion. The thing is that they exist out there. I don't usually give a lot of names, but I will give names. Do you know? Oh no, you don't. So I'm just gonna give you a name. There is this VTuber. His name is Bettl, Bettl. He is from Hollow Stars, right?
Right.
And he performed as an entertainer at literally the next level. Like it's peak performing art, like you say, right? His full name is Gavis Bettl, and yet he numbers, right? I'm just talking about numbers. Like he has success. That's for sure, but he's not achieving same number success. It's kind of crazy to call it number success. He's not achieving number success as others. As let's say when we start comparing male female, right?
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself why, how come? Because he, like, I'm gonna send you stuff maybe from him, like maybe so you can understand if you're interested. And I think, and basically in the clip that I'm gonna send one of my friend, my main shtick is this: male anime is niche, very niche, and is not mainstream, is not trendy.
No.
Anime has always had cute girls as the gold standard, and just like people want cute girls doing cute things, and they'll follow that. And it's just like it's very mainstream.
So I was like, I saw like you stopped me in like the middle of like a canned rant I had, so it's gonna be like this could be a little bit janky coming out of my mouth. There's gonna be a little bit of a janky one here.
No, go ahead.
So I think like a big thing that distinguishes being male and female in the VTubing space, masculine or feminine in the VTubing space, is that it does feel like we've got a couple of formulas for success, recipes for success that female VTubers can use with a little bit more replicability than male streamers can. I look at the male streamers that I see being fairly successful, and the differences between them are stark. Particularly like when I first learned about streaming way back.
My mind would go Tony Stark.
Yeah. I think about like older streamer, like back in the day, way back in the day, like 10 years ago, streaming meant being good at video games. That's why people would watch your stream, was because you were the best of the best. I mean,
even in 2024, there's a lot of still
there's still a fair number, but it's not the it's not the only or primary. Matara Khan gave a really good interview with Goonhammer talking about this, that like she had a friend who was doing art streams, but like had to do them as like League of Legends streams because Twitch didn't allow you to do art streams. And so I think that part of it is that like between what I was talking about earlier, where like a lot of men are trying to do the same things that feminine VTubers are doing, but without a lot of conscientiousness about their gender, and the fact that there doesn't seem to be as replicable so far. Nobody's found it yet. I want to be clear. Nobody's yet found a strategy that works for male VTubers as consistently as...
I could name one.
A strategy?
Is someone who has like a strategy that is very close to
because I'm not talking
female
about
VTuber.
Oh yeah, BFE is actually pretty. That's fairly reliable. Yeah, BFE is fairly reliable. No, I'm talking like strategy, not like a streamer. I'm talking like many women have done the like being a chaotic gremlin while playing comp games, and that's gotten them into like into like 100 CCV levels. Like you can ride that into 100 CCV levels pretty consistently if you're a pretty skilled actor, or at least pretty funny. And there's just like we just don't have a similar thing that we can say about male streamers at the moment. I think that's part of it, but I think those are like two of the bigger elements. Are those things are the lack of a strategy and the attempting to use a strategy that doesn't actually fit the tools. And yeah, BFE is actually a pretty good example. That's of a strategy. Cannot lie, I've contemplated going that route. And the what I was gonna say is, like, to me the biggest thing that I keep in mind as a male streamer is that I have a really, really huge advantage over all of my female streamer friends. A truly massive advantage over all of them.
Yeah.
Which is the risk profile for me being stalked and harassed. Very low. Very, very low.
I mean, and also, I think that at any level of like being popular, like the risk like just augment, right?
There's
different.
Yeah,
it's different for sure. It's different for sure.
It's very different. I know male actors who have been stalked by fans. Yeah. Like I've met people who've like had that problem, but like the risk profile for us is just so much lower. But and it allows me at least to be really careless with certain personal details. That I know that like my female streamer friends cannot be. It also helps that like I can give you an enormous number of details and all of them put together will add up to there is a white guy with a beard in Brooklyn. Like, good luck. Good luck. It's that's a lot of information, but it's not going to get you very far.
I still think that there is an element, and I think I'll be honest here. I think I'm always attracted by difficult. I'm challenges, and I think. And I'm not probably going to change the world, but if I could, I think there's something, and I became a VTuber a little bit because of that. There is something in our 2024 male masculinity that lacks this, how can I say, positive kind of male interaction.
Homosociality is the sociology term for it.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Homosociality. Yeah. There was actually a really good lecture I remember from when I was studying sociology. If anybody's wondering, that's what I was a professor of. If people didn't know, I was not a professor of history.
I'm talking to the right person then.
Yeah. One of those things that was really, a thing that was really fascinating that got brought up was, who's your best friend? Who's your best friend? And if you look at pop culture portrayals of friendship from the 60s and 70s, your best friend is another person of the same gender, not your spouse. The sort of like if you've watched Mad Men, you saw it several times. Like the stereotypical like way that people hung out was two married couples having dinner together, and the men break off into their own room and the women break off into another room, and it may not be like your wife is best friends with your best friend's wife.
Wait,
right?
I know where I'm liking where you're going, but it generated like some thoughts.
But in general, like the general norm in the 21st century is that a man's best friend is their romantic partner, and that in the Anglosphere, in America and related cultures, that's stereotypically your best friend, and this, or their dog, yes. And this is a thing that I actually really love reading advice columns, and one of the big causes of a lot of advice column questions basically come down to, my boyfriend doesn't have any social life other than me. Like that's fundamentally the nature of a huge number of problems.
Let's agree though that probably. I'm so sorry. I'm pulling stats out of my ass right now. Probably most of the viewership of VTubers, especially female VTubers, don't have a spouse.
Yeah, I mean that's quite. I don't know about that. I was about to say because I don't know how you find that. We do know how to find. We do know how to find the statistics for gender because people self-reported, and the statistics are that. On Twitch, it's like 85% of viewers are male.
Yes. It's really high.
Yeah, it's really high. It's really high. Yeah. I haven't checked my statistics for that in a while. I've checked my statistics for countries has been changing over time. It's been getting more American.
Me too. Yeah.
It used to be much more European. But yeah, this is. But yeah, you're right to point out. This was just all in the service of what you were pointing out before, which is that there is this. This collapse of homosociality. Like men don't tend to have nearly as many male friends as they used to, and they don't tend to have them very deeply.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they tend to view them at a certain degree of arm's length.
And interestingly that you just said that. Here in Japan is kind of crazy, and the male relationship, especially when they are like in high school and junior high school, they are very close to each other, like you said, like at arm length, but not here. Here, men in Japan like hug each other as like when they're friends, like seeing a guy sitting on his friend lap is not uncommon. Like in a school. So
that reminds me a little bit that this is just like a personal story, but I think it illustrates something a little bit, which is that I come from a very hippie family, and so like hugging is very normal in my family. I hug my brothers, I hug my parents, I hug my uncles all the time, and so like. I'm very touchy with my male friends. And so this means that I have been, this is just kind of leads, blah, 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 a million different things happen between this and the next fact. The next fact is I have already been best man 3 times. And I'm probably going to be best man at least 2 more times. Because there's a lot of men who I'm like, easily their best friend because I'm the male friend that's like really unreserved and straightforward and just like, it's so nice to see you, give me a hug. And it's a very unusual behavior for American men, and I don't know why I attribute it to coming from a hippie family, but I think this is I get the vibe from you.
For me, I've had a lot of female friends.
I've tended to have more female friends.
Exactly, and I don't want to go into too much detail because this is very personal. But I have also been so much closer to women growing up, and like my grandmother, my mother. I've always been like much closer, and I haven't really, I think, grown into this kind of masculine I hate this word, masculinity. Yes. And I don't know, maybe that shaped who I am today, but that's the one thing that for me, and I just wish we could have more with the male VTubing, and it's been very hard, and then maybe we can switch into that topic. I want to be bro and care about my male VTuber, either like they are corpo or they are like people I interact with. Like I want them to succeed. I want to be like, like I have the bro fist for a reason, right? Like to me, like it's just like, come on, bro fist, like, you know, like kind of camaraderie, and I really relish into that, and I came from a lot of like the corpo scene, right?
Yeah.
But as much as I'm like, I want to be that representation of healthy male friendship, healthy male representation. I don't know about you, okay? But I'm going to be really real with you.
Okay.
Having male VTuber friendship and collab. I'm glad that we're having this thing right now. I don't know if I ever like told you that I'm really happy that I found you, and then like we kind of vibe, because it's been so hard. It's been so hard in the indie. Like everyone is corpo. All the male VTuber, they're almost like all corpo. And
yeah.
And to me, I was just like, surely I can be that representation of healthy male relationship and friendship, like on camera. But you okay there?
Yeah, I'm just adjusting. I just stand up. Been sitting too long.
It's all good.
Oh yeah, no, I broke my tracking. I thought I was going to break my tracking horrendously. I'll just get back down.
I was like, you're really.
I was just thinking about my microphone placement. I was thinking about my microphone placement on my camera placement. Yeah, that would ruin my camera placement. Oh, this is. You know
what I'm talking about. Like I don't know if you've been long enough, like a male VTuber, to have felt it, but.
So this is yeah. I mean, the thing the thing I'm still thinking about is I have been streaming for over a year, for about 14-15 months now, somewhere in there. And however, up until April of this year, I was quite invisible. I was a like 3 to 5 viewer.
Well, that tweet did boost you a little.
Yeah, it was a big tweet. It was a viral moment. And it's I noticed overnight people treating me differently.
Yeah.
In this space, and I'm still kind of recalibrating to like when I reach out to people, I can expect them to get back to me in a timely fashion, which is
welcome to VTuber, my friend. Holy shit! Yes, tell me.
That like that's. I feel like am taken, which aside, I myself am personally very bad at answering. Yeah, one of my emoji is me sleeping with 9 Discord notifications.
I heard that even your chat is making fun of it sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, it's I am bad about getting. I'm bad about that.
But somehow it's different in your case. How can I say? I feel you're just not like. It's not like something you're naturally kind of doing. For me, I'm always online, right? So it's kind of natural. But when it comes from you, I don't feel like you ghosted me, or like you were just like so distracted,
slow,
and like and it's just. How can I say? It still feels different. There are people where I'm like waiting on stuff to happen, and I'm like, come on, like, are we doing this or are we not? There, it's been really rough. It's been really rough.
Yeah.
Reaching out to people.
Yeah, it is. I am just a disorganized person who's easily distracted. Is all that it is. That's all there is to it in my case. I can't make it more real than that. But yeah, like my but like the way that people treat me is very different. The way that my streams run is very different. The way that it feels to be a streamer, to have a chat that is generally going to have over 10 people chatting pretty reliably is very different. And I'm actually looking for the tweet that you mentioned, but I can find the tweet that I quote tweeted to create that thread, but it's a specific thread that I know that people are thinking about. And I'm the search on oh yeah, here it is. Found it. April 7th. May I link it?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. This is that was things changed for me radically when I made that tweet. And it makes me feel really dumb because I'm just as a side that I feel really dumb because I'm a consistent, well-known poo-pooer of social media-based strategies and Twitter in particular, and forever onwards, as long as I am a VTuber, I will have to admit that that Twitter was critical to my growth. Like however long I'm doing this, Twitter is now
actually. Me too. Actually,
it's very important now.
Yeah,
I'm very annoyed about having to admit this about a site that I do not like very much and am openly contemptuous of all the time.
But no one does. Don't get yourself wrong. Like almost nobody does. Always, everyone is doing it because it can reach more people. Than not doing it, right?
Yeah. It's but anyway, I forgot where we were. But yeah, I'm still kind of getting used to like having anybody notice me other than like 3 or 4 regulars and also Ronan Historian. I owe Ronan a lot. It is interesting in this space, and I guess this may be like a thing that's kind of like interesting to notice in my own life is that a very large percentage of my friends, partially as a result of me being from a big hippie culture, partially from me living in New York City, partially from other things I did in my life, a huge percentage of my friends are trans. And so I am surrounded by a culture and community in my offline life where people talk and think about gender a lot.
But what about online? Because I was saying
online
for me,
as well. Online as well.
To have like kind of meaningful like male VTuber kind of relationship. Okay. So how has that been for you?
I mean, again, like I think among the people who are the most regular in my community, I'd say almost like half are non-binary. So it's I don't know how this fits into those calculations, and it's like I said, I am hopeful about seeing more masculine growth in this culture and in this community, and I think that, again, I think a lot of the challenge that faces male streamers and VTubers is a deeper problem with the sociality of masculinity, where it's eschews, it avoids collaboration and cooperation.
Yeah,
that's a common feature of American masculinity is a fear of collaboration, cooperation, and in this world, that's like avoiding water.
Because
it's
I'll tell you, I can count on one hand the number of male VTuber I collab with versus like the number of female VTuber I've been successfully in contact with.
Oh yeah.
So is it a number problem? Is it like a difference on content creation? Like Like I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
why
either.
It's been like more difficult to reach out to, and I know, and you know what the craziest thing is?
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you, if I stream with another male VTuber that like I vibe with, the pumpkins, my fans, the people, my viewer, love that shit. People want it. That's the craziest thing. People want it, and it's been like so hard to make it happen. How?
I think that like I said, I think some of it's like how masculinity is trained. So I'm just gonna tell a little bit of a story that gets to this.
Okay.
That gets to another element of how masculinity is kind of a little maladaptive in the VTubing space. Is like I said before, I love reading relationship advice columns and those sorts of things. And when you run out of relationship advice columns, there's only like 5 people publishing decent ones. You run out of them pretty quickly. You go to the relationship subreddit, right? And that's where you get your real trashy gossip. And I love my trashy gossip because everybody in my actual life has very stable lives. My family has more 50th wedding anniversaries than divorces. There's been 1 divorce and 8 50th wedding anniversaries within like 2 generations of me.
It's a lot of
it's like, yeah. That's like aunts and uncles and my grandparents. Yeah. But 50th wedding anniversaries are usually pretty rare. They're very common in my family. My parents are coming up, and I need my fix of God. I need my fix of drama by getting it from totally external people. And one of the ones is surprisingly common. It's not like one of the main. It's not one of the ones like common to the point of being a stereotype that I notice it as I've been using it more often. Is like, my boyfriend wants to be a streamer. I am a successful streamer. He doesn't listen to any of my advice. What the hell? And that's fairly common. That's fairly common. That like these families will have these men will not listen to fairly straightforward advice from people who are close to them. And the worst part is I can sometimes see myself doing it. And some of it's been advice that I think in retrospect was the wrong advice. That people were giving advice that made more sense for people who are doing different types of content than me. But also like, you know, like a lot of these are like, oh yeah, like my boyfriend wants to be a streamer and all he does is he just like plays Valo silently. And it's like I know that I am not following all of the best social media advice, but I know that at the very least I'm putting in the work to read acting books and watch actors that I think are entertaining and think clearly about like what it would do to be the kind of personality and to embody that personality on stream. You know, I'm treating this like acting, right? I'm treating this like a performing art.
Sometime I have to remind myself. It's you know, you're just like doing your thing and you play game, but you're right in the end, you know, it's a performing art. Yeah,
it's a performing art, and it's you know, there's looking at acting, there's looking at improv comedy, there's looking at talk show hosts, and professional interviewers. You know, I've got a bunch of Combat Jack queued up because I've heard he's a very good resource for learning how to do interviews, and so I've got that queued up to listen to and take notes on. And because I haven't listened to Combat Jack before, but it's that sort of thing, and it's if you don't do that, like what are you doing? But like, yeah, like they don't listen on this, that, or the other thing. They think that they just need to show up, and they don't quite recognize that you do kind of got to put on your makeup.
I mean, at the same time, there's a lot of idiot out there.
Yeah,
maybe you know, like if someone things that like they just play a game like in silence and people like will suddenly flock in. You gotta be a bit dum. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
or you have no idea what is streaming. You know.
Yeah, it's yeah. And I always try to emphasize this to people because I think this is a good art form, to be honest, and I want this art form to do better. And this is why I don't feel like as I'm not being at all cagey or hidden about what I do. On top of the fact that I'm just a bad lie.
I do also see it as an art form. Like all of my Janken life, I always like I had like these jobs, and I always like felt like I really need that art form coming out from me. I don't play music. I don't. I don't really sing, I don't draw, but I've always been compelled to like talking and sharing and vocally performing or sometimes writing. I did do a couple haiku that by the way I owe a couple haiku because of my donation, but but I've always been compelled, and I can say it's the one thing that keeps me going right now. Like there's been a lot of attempts. Like I tried to do a gaming review website, like more like with opinions and kind of like review, of course. That didn't go so well. I was serious, very much serious about the haiku at some point. That didn't go so well either. But this is really like the art form that, like, I don't know, it's just... I like talking, I guess.
I spent so much of my life convincing myself that I was not an art guy, and that I was not a performing art guy in particular. That I was I love the meeting people. I love the getting out in front of people. I love the being on camera. I love the improvising. No, I love this. I love this. And yeah, it's. But yeah, and I do think that sometimes that's a little bit of the misapprehension some of our male streamers have, is that they aren't even conceiving of this as a thing, as an art form. Maybe. That has a craft to it.
Maybe.
That, like,
I see it now.
Yeah. People do it. People do say people there are people who explicitly do not believe that this is that they are doing.
There's also people who think that video games is not an art form. So
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, there are people who think that, and depending on where they are in the video game making process, if they're making video games and they don't believe video games are an art form, they might be making their lives a lot harder.
You got to be really dense in how video games are made to think that it's not an art form.
Most of the people I have known who make video games, will point to the books that they read and the movies that they watch as like inspiration points. Not just and obviously other video games, but like, and I think that's always to me, that's always me being very anthropological. That's, like, to me, that's the critical part about art, is do you talk about it like it's art? Right? Yeah. like do you talk about it like it's art? Do you criticize it like it's art?
In the art classes that I had in college, I was told that if you have a artistic method, basically anything can be art, but that's a completely different topic.
yeah.
My favorite piece, one of my favorite piece of art is Fontaine. Do you know Fontaine?
You're gonna have to help me out here.
So Fontaine is basically a guy who took a urinary.
Oh yeah. The Duchamp, right?
Yes. Flipped it around. Yes. And then flipped it around and then signed it.
Yes. And it's a I'm just gonna. You've actually triggered like a nice little fun one for me. That like to me that piece of art is really funny because you will still see people going around social media going, "This is the problem with modern art."
Yes.
Modern art has gone unhinged.
Yes,
and like
yes.
And it's like, first of all, this thing's over 100 years old. So first of all, like this is like a World War I era art piece. So if you're going to try to tell me that like you want to return to tradition, I mean the 1960s, this was old by then. This one was old by the time we put a man on the moon. And so first of all, there's that, and second of all, it's the part about it that's very important. I always feel like this is a very important thing to emphasize about Fountain and several other pieces of modernist art, is that part of what they are as a piece of art is the context of being in a museum. Like they have to be in a museum where that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like
a lot of people don't even know like what artistic method is. Like, they think that like people just make art out the like fucking nowhere, like as if like in a vacuum I made heart, you know. It's just no, like when you make art you need like to think about what you're doing. You're just not just like, hey, I made art today. You know.
No, it's one of those things I think about non-trivially is that like when you read older artists, when you read older like and I don't mean like 20th century, I mean like 1500s or like BC artists, they'll often talk about muses, right? And inspiration and divine inspiration, stuff like that. To me, I've always kind of accepted that some part of that is that it just takes some pressure off of you as the artist to externalize some of your own mind. Because like from where I'm standing, the artist did it. Like, to the extent that there was stuff that was not inside the artist's mind that was part of the creation of the art, it was like the audience or like the context that taught them or like the cultural context that they existed in, etc., etc. But in the but it like that's a lot of pressure. Like I know artists who like struggle and choke all the time because they don't they feel the pressure of it all being on them. And so if you can say like, oh, it came to me in a dream, you know, that might help take some of that pressure off and make it a little bit easier on yourself to be like, I am not the person who's responsible for this art. I'm just the one who paints it or who sculpts it or who comes up or who turns it into stage directions. So I did, yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, you know, like you said, you're the one who did it, right?
Yeah.
But yes, the art topic is always funny because, like, it people always, when you talk about art, just art, people always tend to take it, especially I think nowadays, in a very practical matter. Just like what you see is what you get, and then like all the thing behind like how art comes to life is kind of like not really taught about. So it's interesting of talking about art, I feel, in this day and age. I don't know if there's something about the ease of access that kind of like made people like that thinking or just not thinking of like the processes of making art. But yeah, it's a topic I always find interesting. But you know what? I'm gonna flip the table completely.
Flip the table, okay.
I'm gonna flip the table completely, at least the topic table, because believe it or not, like we're like 3 hours in.
Yeah, we're 3 hours in. Yeah.
And I've been trying to segue. You did tell me a couple topic, okay?
Yeah. We didn't touch them.
Yeah. And I was like, I love this topic. I want to talk about it. I've been trying to segue into it, but nothing. Maybe when you were talking about the Yiddish, maybe I could have because potato. But not even sure if it's completely related. But you wrote, and like I said, like, don't be surprised, chat. We go from it's another type of art form. There we go. I found the segue. Cooking is a art form per se, right? And
it's actually my favorite. It's my favorite one to do.
I want to cook more personally.
Well, and the last meal I had that I did not cook, or that somebody else didn't cook. I've had only home cooked meals since late 2022.
That's crazy.
I haven't eaten out
frozen?
or delivery.
Nothing frozen.
Frozen. I mean, never just like by itself. It's always like I'll at the very least have some rice with it that I made, or some bread.
Like a whole prepared meal, frozen meal.
I don't even like those.
We need to do a stream just about cooking. Like the difference is like you haven't since for 2 years basically.
2.5 years, 1.5 years.
And we're talking not even going out to the restaurant.
No restaurants, no delivery.
It's crazy.
But there are people who get mad at me for it because I live in New York.
And you live in New York. That's crazy. But you had one type that you especially wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about potatoes because you are. Yeah, you got your whole like poutine thing.
Yeah. As a Québécois, to me, by the way, as a Québécois, is just like normal. You would meet any Québécois, and we would all just be the same level of like, poutine is the shit, and everyone should know about poutine, and we're gonna make poutine, for everyone, right? Mm-hmm. But yes, I have this. I have this thing about poutine. So, what did you want to
I was just kind of wondering what your what are some of your favorite potato recipes? Because I've got some on my mind. And have a good night, Nando.
So basically, poutine, of course, is out there, but it's potato fries, right? It's not really. It's a poutine kind of recipe. It's a poutine. It's a potato kind of recipe, but I feel that everything else is like the potato, are like the lettuce of the meal, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like potato cooking, I am a big fan of stuffed baked potato.
Stuffed baked potato.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Okay. And if I want to say another potato recipe that is very Québécois, how is it called in English? It's so funny, okay? It's basically a potato cake, if you could say it like that. And we call it in French, in Quebec French, pet de sœur, which means nun's fart.
Nun's fart. Okay, I was not ready for that one.
We have a lot of religious stuff going on in our language, I guess. Religion has a lot to do with Quebec history, but
But so it's like a shredded cake.
No, it's like how would you describe that? How would you describe
so
that?
If it's not shredded, so it's not like a latke.
Imagine like I'm pretty sure it's potato base. Now that I'm thinking, like I'm doubting myself. I hate it. I'm actually wrong. It's not this one. The pet de sœur is not potato based. So I'm thinking of something else. The nun's fart is what you usually do.
It's a cinnamon roll.
Kinda. You take the leftover dough from the tourtière, and you add like some brown sugar in it. But no, it's not potato. So am I thinking of potato candy then? Potato. Have you ever heard of potato candy?
You're gonna have to help me out here.
I think it's yeah. But I don't remember how we call it in Quebecois. Yes. That. I'll send you a picture.
I'm looking these up, and I've never seen one of these.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of these. That's what I found.
Yeah. So basically, I think it's like you make like potato just like a dough, kinda, and I think it's peanut butter. That is, it's peanut butter that is like in the spiral kind of thing. Yes, I think the bonbon patate is literally, that's what we call them. Just like literally a literal translation. Potato candy, bonbon mean candy, and patate means potato. But yes, this one is really interesting. Well, I like peanut butter, and it's like in the heart of kind of Quebec. Like Quebec story is one of like survival and being very poor. So there's a lot of like our meals that are very cheap, right? Even the poutine is really simple. It's like potato, gravy, and cheese, right? And this is kind of in the same vein of it, and I would say very original at the same time. But yeah. Potato candy.
Potato candy.
Yeah. What would you say one of your favorite potato recipes?
Okay, so I've got a.
He was ready. The moment I said
I've got
it.
no. I thought about it before I wrote it down, man. I didn't. I'm an improviser, but how much of an improviser do you think I am? No, I came prepared. So one of the ones that I've been relying a lot recently, that's like I might end up making it like right after the stream. Is I do like a curried potatoes, very much like a kind of based on some stuff I learned in Nepal. So take some olive oil and mix it with salt, and then 2 parts cumin, 1 part turmeric, 1 part cinnamon. That's your traditional Nepalese takari spice mix, and however much chili powder you want. I like a lot of chili powder because I'm that kind of guy. Toss some chunked potatoes in there, like, home fry size, maybe not like chunks, of potato in there. Oven 450 Fahrenheit. I forget what that is in Celsius. I apologize, but I have a Fahrenheit oven. I have a Fahrenheit oven. What can I do? What do you want me to do? Whatever your high veggie cooking temperature is, whatever your vegetable roasting temperature is. Roast it for about 20 minutes, and then I make a sauce of tahini, lemon juice, soy sauce, garlic powder.
Ooh, okay.
And that's a really good one. That's just like 20-something minutes. That very easy to do. Very easy to do, very quick. That one I really like, and I really like this recipe I've got. That's like this is gonna sound weird. A Sichuanese potato salad.
Sichuanese, okay.
Yeah. You just you shred potatoes and then blanch them.
Okay.
And then you toss them in a sauce that's like soy sauce, black vinegar, and a lot of cilantro. You need fresh cilantro. You really need a lot of fresh cilantro.
Wait.
Yeah.
That is the most Asian American kind of thing. You start saying soy sauce, and then you continue saying cilantro. That is fusion as hell. I can tell you, you're not gonna find any cilantro here in Japan.
It's Sichuanese cooking uses it all the time.
Oh, really?
Western Chinese cooking uses it all the time. Yeah, Western Chinese uses it all the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Western and Northwestern Chinese cooking uses it a lot.
I'm too Japanese. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're too Japanese. Yeah. And then this is the part that's kind of tricky because the cooking method I don't use for anything else because I'm not Asian. And apparently it's like a common Indonesian cooking technique.
Okay.
Get a heat-proof bowl. like a Pyrex bowl.
Okay.
And you put in minced garlic and Sichuan peppercorns and some hot red peppers, some hot dried chili peppers.
Okay, that's gonna be hot.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And you get some oil up to smoking, and then you pour it into that bowl.
I'm not confident enough to make oil smoke.
It's very easy. You just put it on hot, and as soon as you see some smoke coming off, you turn off the heat.
Okay.
Then you pour that onto the garlic and peppers, and once it's cooled down a bit, then you mix everything together and let it settle.
Okay.
And it's a Sichuanese potato salad. You got a lot of Sichuan peppercorn in there, and the cilantro, and it's got the nice.
Sounds good. I'm on the boat that likes cilantro.
It's a great. It's a wonderful.
Well, if your
dish.
gene have decided that it's not tasting like soap, yeah. But if you're part of the people who their body has decided that it tastes like soap, then maybe not so.
Yeah. So it's those are two of the ones that I really like that I've really liked lately. I looked at
you said you came to Japan, right?
Yeah, long time ago though.
Have you had the chance to try Japanese sweet potato?
I have. It's very good. It's very good.
I can
the local grocery store.
A baked like sweet potato. I can at first I was like, ain't no way, but I tried one. I can eat that shit straight up.
So chat, even if you can't find proper Korean or Japanese batata, you can tell that what language is spoken in my neighborhood. You can just put a sweet potato, wrap it in some foil, and you bake it at 325 for 90 minutes. Bake it below your normal baking temperature.
But
low
it doesn't feel the same with a non-Asian potato.
Oh, it is better. It is better with those ones.
Yeah,
they're just
the
more
sweet
expensive,
potato.
so I don't do it as often.
Yeah.
The Korean style, we call them the Korean batata at my grocery store. Yeah, that's the same as the Japanese sweet potato. It's the Japanese sweet potato. The American sweet potato will do, but it won't be as good.
Yeah.
The key is the low temperature, though. That's the key part.
Have you had a chance to have the candied sweet potato?
No, I haven't.
This is so good. I think it's like a sugar that kind of caramelized the potato, but it's not like overly sweet, and the sweetness of the potato is still like you can still taste it. It's not overpowered kind of taste. I love that. I love candied sweet potato a lot here. Like you go like to a matsuri or something, like this is one of my go-to. It's really daigakuimo. So good. So good. I just love potato, man.
And of course I know that there's so many homophones. I'm like, college? College sweet potatoes?
Yes.
Oh, wait, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yes,
it is. It's kanji.
Yeah. It is.
Oh my god.
I double
played myself.
It is the same.
I double played myself.
Yeah.
I double played myself there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, daigaku also for university or college. Yeah. And the idea is that I think it came from, they're tired of eating like cup ramen, and a guy just like put sugar like on his sweet potato, and they realized that. I think so. I hope I'm not saying shit. But and then it just like became like popular as especially a festival food. Actually, I'm very excited. I haven't told chat or any social media, but I'm gonna say it here with you. I'm soon going to Kyoto. And my
beautiful place.
Yes, it's been a while since I've been, but I visited like a couple of times, and I really hope we manage to find like some stands, because there's nothing like Japanese like food stand, it's just like it's a must. If you ever like visit Japan, like finding a Matsuri, a festival, or just finding like the stands, it's it's great. It's a bit pricey. Well, it depends. If you earn USD right now, nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, I've got quite a few friends who are going like, "Hey, can we like pool some savings together and buy a house in Japan?" And I'm like, I don't know if we can get away with it on an immigration perspective.
Yeah. Right now, like almost like double, literally like $2, like 100 yen about. Right now, a bit less than that, but still. Yeah, so I'm going there. I'm very excited. I hope I find like some stands where I can. Oh yes, I don't know if you ever had that, talking about potato, because I still haven't gotten it, but I need to have it. They have here in Matsuri the spiral potato. Have you ever seen that? It's like a fried potato. Like almost like a chip kind of consistency, and then they put it like as a spiral, and they put it on a very long stick, and it's like a fun festival stand food.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this at all.
And I think this is popular in Asia, not only in Japan. I think in Korea also you have like this the tornado potato. Yeah.
It does a fact checker right there in chat.
Yeah, always. She's the brain of this whole operation. Yes. But okay. I'm very excited. I'm probably gonna take some picture, so might be sharing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But we've been like for 3 hours. It's getting
it's been over 3 hours.
Yeah,
I need to use the bathroom.
But I think though, I like this format. I like to talk, and I feel like I said, I don't have a lot of like older men kind of VTuber kind of thing going on. So don't be surprised if I invite you again and we have just
I won't be.
A yap session, because that was good.
That was good.
I've learned a lot too, and I think I have a lot to learn from you. You're full of knowledge, so and maybe chat can also learn at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. Anything going on your side soon, like for your stream or anything?
So I am there's stuff that's being slow cooked. There's some slow cooking going on for stuff like merch and things of those nature, more traditional VTuber nature. Of the immediate term, I have declared July to be the Dark Souls of months.
You're still on that grind, right?
Yeah. By which I mean I've been streaming Dark Souls blind. I am. If you want to see a person who, until my first stream of Dark Souls, I did not know Dark Souls had classes.
Yeah.
Or stats.
Yeah.
Oh, this is me first hearing about it. This is the level of ignorance I have on Dark Souls.
Okay.
I am staggeringly bad at it. I died 123 times to the first boss.
He counted them.
To be fair, at least 2 of those were to other causes, and at least to other enemies, and I think at least one of those was fall damage, if not 2. So it was like about 120 deaths to the first boss. I am 243 deaths in, I think, somewhere around there. Somewhere well above 200. All
right. As long as you're having fun.
It is fun. Okay. I am really bad, but if you want to watch somebody play who does not know anything about the game, I know that my ignorance of the game is giving at least one of my mods a heart condition.
No, but But to be honest, there's a lot of people, when they're watching someone, they want to return to that state of not knowing, and they do it through people. Like the same thing happened to me with Minecraft. Like I was like, I haven't played Minecraft for like a decade. Like I played it like on the beta when like it was like super niche, and then like I had people just being like, oh, okay, then if you want, because I was like, backseating is fine. I didn't care. It's Minecraft, right? It's not like there's a story. So like people like were enjoying like me relearning about it, because for them it's just granted, because it's been playing for like the past 5 years or so, right? So so no, there's definitely value. I think it's really interesting that you're doing Completely Blind.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's been really fun. I don't know if I'm going to do 1 or 2 streams of it this coming week, but at least one. I mean, that's other stuff would be smaller. That's the thing that's the closest to an ongoing event.
Okay.
So if you want to watch, I'll post schedule tomorrow probably. So if you want to watch something be staggeringly bad. I love 3rd Gen Armored Core. I've actually never played. I played a lot of From Soft, but only the Armored Core series. That was my first time playing any of their non-Armored Core games.
I see.
But it's it's been fun. It's been very fun streams.
An experience.
It's an experience. And
yes, you can follow Almentas because I put the link in
you did.
In there at the top as a pin. So if you're curious, like just go ahead and follow him, and you'll have the notification. For me, tomorrow we're having a very special day. It's not on my schedule, but I did mention it. I'm gonna do a combo stream. I did a donathon that you were a part of at the end, and one of the goal was having pizza, a Japanese pizza, mind you. So that means that the ingredient is going to be weird.
I'm sorry, I will not spoil it for your chat, but that was my least favorite food I had in Japan. Was Japanese pizza. I was not into it.
You're very American, probably, and I heard a lot of American like really don't like Japanese pizza. I'm fine with it, but the fun part is that chat is and the pumpkin are gonna be choosing the topping of my pizza, and there's gonna be some weird stuff like corn and mayo.
No, that's the ones I was thinking of. No, there's actually a non-American trait of mine. I hate mayonnaise. I hate
but
mayonnaise.
Japanese mayonnaise is very different, though.
It's better.
Yes. Oh no, we can't have that talk because we're ending. That means that we need to take notes, and we need to talk about mayo in their next session. Because I love Japanese mayo to death, and I will fight. I will fight you if I if I have to. But let's keep it. And at the same time, tomorrow, this is going to be a it's going to be a hand cam stream, and because I just reached 4,000 subs on the channel. Thank you, everyone, by the way. I promise that I will be making Usagi Ringo, basically my mascot, right? The rabbit apple, this guy, right? So I will be making them live, probably while we're waiting for the pizza to arrive. So that's gonna be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Japan time. And for the rest of the week, I'm not sure. We'll see. And just like you, I'm gonna make a schedule.
All right.
Well, thank you. I should call you Al, right? People call you
Al's
Al.
good. Manny's good. I'm pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
Al, Manny, Almantas.
Because Almantas is like it's long to say. I'll try to call you Al.
No big deal. I don't do whatever. Yeah.
So thank you, Al, for coming over and having this yap session, this old man yap session. It was really fun.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
Knowledge is amazing. I love knowledge. I love learning. I love teaching. I love talking. So definitely, if you want to do this again, you'll be most than welcome in my pawn shop here in virtual Japan. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And I have a tradition here on the channel, Al. I don't know if you're aware of it. Every time that the stream finishes, we're doing some fist bump in the chat, and you can virtually give me a fist bump too.
Let's see if I can figure out how to do it in
Can you?
How do I do it in YouTube? I don't use YouTube.
Oh, you just like you just emoji the fist bump.
That one?
That works. Come on, chat. Give me some fist bump. Yeah, I have a cute little emoji of the member too, so that helps. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Al, and we'll talk. We'll talk again. Of course, we'll talk again soon.
All right.
Do you mind if we do a little redirect?
Not a problem. All
right, let's see. Let's see if I have someone streaming right now. Yes, I do have someone. I collab with her once, and she's often active in my chat, and she's doing crochet, which is perfect because we're all men. Reina Chapeau, that I did a Japanese food review with, is streaming, and we're gonna give her a little boost there. Yeah, crochet and old men. Perfect. Excellent. I love it. All right. So everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.